My goal was never to be the quarterback of an NFL team. I wanted to be the quarterback of a top 10 team playing in the national title game. And we have a chance to do that, and this is a dream come true for me.
Tell you what, we went to break a second ago. Jesse, Joey, and Matt back with you as we count down to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl that Lincoln Riley's very happy to have Jalen Hurts on his sideline. But what about Joe Burrow? Perhaps one of the coolest, calmest quarterbacks we've seen in quite some time. You could argue perhaps he is the key to victory for LSU today as we now break down the most important part for each of these teams. Joey, I'll start with you. What is the most important key for LSU today?
Remember what got you here. Don't listen to the noise. Don't think about all the records you broke along the way. Don't think about the awards you've won in the past couple weeks. Don't think about the #1 ranking. Go out and do what got you here. Don't listen to you people say that Oklahoma doesn't have a chance.
You haven't said that either.
Focus and get rolling in this game. And go out and make a statement early in this game and let Oklahoma know that you're here ready to play.
I think for Oklahoma, defensively, they've got to make stops. And the injuries and the suspensions, that's well documented. They're down their best pass rusher, Perkins. They're down to starting safety and Turner Yell, their second leading tackler. So defensive coordinator Alex Grinch, he's handcuffed a little bit in this one, right? Schematically against the statistically best offense in SEC history. It'll be a next man up mentality. That's what they should say. But I think collectively, they've got to find a way on defense to get after Joe Burrow, create some pressure, get off the field on third down, and create some turnovers. Something the Sooners have not been good at this year. Only 11 takeaways, fifth fewest in the country. They got to make some plays early, really try and gain some momentum and some confidence. I think that's key.
I will tell you this, if LSU comes out right away and scores quickly, you've got to wonder what OU is going to be thinking, especially with those guys, as you mentioned, hurt defensively, missing some defensive stars. Now, if you look at the college football playoff big picture throughout the weekend, every single one of these coaching staffs hired their current head coach from within the staff. Perhaps one of the best stories we've seen in college football in quite some time, the rise of Ed Orgeron. He has seemingly been on the hot seat since the second he was named head coach because the stories you know by now, LSU flirting with Tom Herman, they didn't get him, they got Coach O. He's the trendiest coach in college football now. Speak to the job he's done of getting this program from SEC afterthought with Alabama now to the college football playoff.
He's had the same attitude throughout. I loved him when we had the rankings selection day. Coach Orgeron was like, we'll play anyone, anywhere. Everyone else was talking about who's going to be ranked #1, who's going to have to match up with Clemson, who's going to get OU. He could care less. He's happy to be in this situation. He's worked for it. So it's been a joy to watch his success. He's earned it because you're right. A coach that was on the hot seat last season for no reason. And then gets to this point has been impressive, but the attitude he's brought to it has made me a fan of him.
He's the coach of the year, and I think head coaches oftentimes get credit for the talent that they're able to recruit, but Coach O also made some big moves in the offseason with hiring and his staff and bringing in Joe Brady to help Steve Ensminger out in this offense, modify some things, update some things, has made them so dangerous. This LSU offense is completely different than what we had seen for years before. And I give Ensminger also a ton of credit, too, because there's been no ego with him. Joe Brady's come in. They've worked together. They put the best product out on the field and put their players in position to make plays and be successful. At the end of the day, there's a lot of different ways you evaluate a head coach. But Coach O, he's checked all the boxes.
It's going to be a fun game. LSU, the heavy favorite. Can they move one step closer to playing what would be a home national championship game? We are close to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
What is this team's goal right now?
Win the next game.
LSU looks unstoppable.
God has put me in some crazy, unprecedented situations, but it ain't nothing that I can't handle.
Touchdown for Oklahoma.
Since I was 10 years old, this is what I've always wanted to do.
Touchdown, Tigers! Well,
From the start, their potential was easy to see. Their future wasn't. Lofty dreams are reached.
The Tigers reclaim their crown.
Over solid ground. Through twists and turns, ups and downs, make a choice, then make a change. And that can make all the difference. The same passion, 4 paths to one place. Here, at the helm of teams that believe in them.
With the quick strike.
That are led by them.
Buckeyes can do no wrong. This is a beatdown.
Into a challenge earned through effort and will. With the chance to climb the final hill of a long and hard-fought campaign.
He's a one-man show.
This is the game they pretended to play as kids. Today they play it for real as young men in the college football playoff.
You're watching the 2019 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, and welcome everyone to the Booking.com kickoff as we get ready for the first of today's two college football playoff semifinals between number 1 LSU and 4th-ranked Oklahoma. The Tigers making their first ever appearance in the playoff. Oklahoma, its third straight, fourth in the last 5 years. Then tonight at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl in Arizona, it's number 2 Ohio State against the defending national champion Clemson. The Tigers have won 28 games in a row. The Buckeyes victorious in their last 19. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Todd Blackledge. Delighted to have you with us for one of the great days of the year on the American sports calendar. And in the 6-year history of the playoff, Todd, a lot of people believe this is the strongest field of 4. 3 undefeated teams for the second year in a row. This group a combined 51-1. No argument. They're the 4 teams that deserve to be here, and each blessed with an outstanding quarterback.
Yeah, it's the 4 best teams in college football led by the 4 best quarterbacks in college football. I mean, clearly the best quartet. I mean, you've got 3 guys that finished 1, 2, 3 in the Heisman voting, and the 4th one, Trevor Lawrence, all he's done is win every game he's played, and also won the national championship last year as a freshman. And it's a new era in college football because they are playing explosive offense. All 4 of these guys leading powerful offensive football teams.
It's a hard story to believe. 3 of those quarterbacks, Burrow, Hurts, and Fields, transfers because they lost the job somewhere else, did not win the job. All they have done is lead their team to the playoff. All 3, as you said, were in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Burrow won it. Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be the number 1 draft pick in 2021. So let's focus on the matchup we have here and the 2 quarterbacks. In the case of Joe Burrow, he won the Heisman Trophy in a landslide, and deservedly so. He brings a lot to the table.
Phenomenal season. He plays with such great toughness and composure. And when you play against Joe Burrow, you've got a real dilemma. As Georgia found out, a very good Georgia football team in the SEC championship. How do you choose to go at this guy? If you rush 3 and drop 8 and have a spy on him, he reads that, he'll just wait. He'll be patient. He'll move in the pocket until one of his talented wide receivers uncovers, in this case, Jamar Chase, in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. So maybe you try to pressure him. You bring a linebacker. He gets free, but Burrow sees it and the ball's out of his hands before any damage is done. This time a linebacker gets free. Burrow eludes him and does what he's done all season, beats teams with his legs when he scrambles with the football. And even if you have the perfect gimmick defense, you drop a lineman right into the throwing lane, still not quick enough to get there to beat Joe Burrow. He has just been phenomenal all year.
And the Heisman Trophy runner-up was Jalen Hurts, now the quarterback at Oklahoma after 3 years at Alabama. The Crimson Tide in the playoff all 3 of those years. He's had a terrific adjustment to life in Norman, Oklahoma.
Absolutely. You know, he got better as a quarterback every year of his career, and he's even better this year, particularly when it comes to throwing the football. He's just really blossomed under Lincoln Riley. He's only been here less than a year. Much more efficient throwing the football, particularly throwing the football down the field, but he's always got that threat as a runner. He's a guy who is a unique runner from the quarterback position because he's big, he's physical, has unique durability. He'll have to be a big factor in the run game tonight, but I also think for Oklahoma to win, he's going to have to make some tough throws against tight LSU coverage.
The profile of Jalen brought to you by Booking.com. He's no stranger to Atlanta. As a matter of fact, he's had some of the biggest moments of his career in this building. The question about both of these teams during a lot of the year was on defense. LSU for a while supplanted by Ohio State as number 1 in the CFP rankings because of questions about the defense. They feel they've answered that late in the year. Oklahoma Oklahoma light years better defensively than the last few years.
New defensive coordinator Alex Grinch has made a huge difference. He's changed their mindset, their mentality. All their defensive numbers are much better, particularly pass defense, where they were last in the country last year. They've got to do a good job trying to take the ball away tonight against LSU. That's not been one of the best things they've done.
Defenses are better, but these are the top 2 teams in the country in total yardage. We expect a shootout today in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Over the middle, complete to Jefferson, and that might be the knockout punch.
Burrow throwing.
Gonna be grabbed by Chase, touchdown!
Late pressure comes, throwing on the run, has a man open. LSU pick up their first SEC title game since 2011.
Champions of the Southeastern Conference in impressive fashion. And back in the familiar spot 3 weeks ago, they emerged from that same locker room to take on Georgia in the SEC championship game. And then Orgeron's Tigers defeated the Bulldogs 37-10 as LSU takes the field. Oklahoma getting ready to take the field. Here's a look back at the Sooners season to date.
Alabama's Jalen Hurts will become a graduate transfer quarterback at the University of Oklahoma.
Hurts fakes the pitch and scores the touchdown.
And a takeaway is going to seal a massive comeback victory for Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma is the Big 12 champion again. And they're back in the college football playoff again. They have the advantage of experience in the playoff. This, however, is not familiar territory for the Sooner Schooner. They've been playing football at Oklahoma since 1895. This is the first game ever for the Sooners in the state of Georgia. Trying to win their first game ever in the college football playoff. 0-3, trying to get past the semifinal round for the first time with a win today. And Todd, they are a big underdog, nearly a 2-touchdown underdog as we get ready for the coin toss.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, their defense gives them a much better chance. For the last couple years, they've had an offense good enough to beat anybody in college football, but they just couldn't outscore everybody. Their defense is so significantly better this year, it gives them confidence to win their first semifinal game in the college football playoff.
Captain's getting ready to come to the center of the field. Honorary captain for LSU, our friend and colleague from ESPN, Marcus Spears. And the honorary captain for Oklahoma is Trent Williams.
Marcus Spears had a pick 6 the last time these teams played for a national championship. Pretty big moment for him.
The referee from the Atlantic Coast Conference is Stuart Mullins.
All right, good afternoon, gentlemen, and congratulations on your selection to play in the 52nd annual Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. And I'm Stuart Mullins, referee. This is Jim Heisen, your umpire. We're from the Atlantic Coast Conference, and we're honored to be here working this game today. Here's the coin. The side with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl logo and the college playoff logo is heads. The other side, with the 150th anniversary of college football, is tails. Oklahoma, it's your call.
Tails. Calls tails.
Tails is the call. And it's heads. Going to defer. LSU has won the toss and has deferred first choice of options to the second half. You want the football, correct? Which way would LSU like to kick? You're going to kick that way. Flip around here for me, please, gentlemen.
We have a reporter on each sideline. Let's start on the Oklahoma side. We welcome Laura Rutledge. Hello, Laura.
Hey, Sean. And it's going to be all hands on deck for Oklahoma with 3 suspensions and 1 key injury. But Lincoln Riley told me right before this game, we are built for this. He said we wouldn't be here if we didn't have guys stepping up in big moments all year long. You see this here, Ronnie Perkins, the defensive end, is the sacks leader on this Oklahoma team. He will be replaced by LaRon Stokes, who is the Big 12 Defensive Newcomer of the Year. And Delaren Turner-Yell while dealing with that injury to his collarbone. He'll be replaced by Justin Broyles, an Oklahoma kid who says he's ready for this huge spotlight. Here's the one thing to watch out for with these 4 guys. They're all key contributors on special teams, so other fellas are going to have to step up there. Let's go to Holly Rowe with LSU's head coach.
Well, Coach Orgeron, you're a defensive line coach at heart, so what does your defense have to do to contain Jalen Hurts' multiple weapons?
We have to get penetration. We have to make plays in the backfield, set edges, and stay in our pass rush lanes.
I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire came out and run some routes. What do you expect from him to contribute today?
He's going to play in certain situations. He's ready to go. He told me he's ready to go, so we're going to see what he can do.
Thank you, sir.
Go Tigers.
Well, that's good news for LSU. Their outstanding running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who practiced almost not at all over the last couple of weeks, will give it a try after warming up today. He can do it all out of the backfield for the LSU Tigers, who will kick off. Avery Atkins is the kickoff man. And back deep for OU, Trey Brown. Oklahoma not a good kickoff return team, averaging less than 17 yards per return. They're 116th in the country. And as usual, it's a touchback for Atkins. 84% of his kickoffs, touchbacks.
Jalen Hurts, quarterback, Houston, Texas.
38-3 in his career as a starter, combining Alabama and Oklahoma. 1,255 rushing yards this season. He is very likely to break the Oklahoma single-season quarterback rushing record today, breaking a mark set by an Oklahoma legend, Jack Mildred, back in 1971.
Could break the touchdowns also, and he is such a key part of their run game, which has been so effective the second half of the season.
Powerful 218-pounder. Looking to throw it in trouble. Wrapped up and down in the arms of Caleb Chason.
Well, Chason is working against a tight end. He's working against Braden Willis, and he's their best pure pass rusher. This was maximum protection. They kept the tight end in. They tried to throw it down the field, and LSU, with tight coverage, led to that sack.
Loss of 6. On the ground with Kennedy Brooks, and he's stacked up by a fired-up Tiger defense led by the best defensive back in the country, the Thorpe Award winner, safety Grant Delpit. Here's a look at today's Chick-fil-A impact players.
CeeDee Lamb is obviously their go-to receiver. They want to get him the ball. He's great after the catch. Kennedy Brooks, outstanding runner. And then on the defense, you just mentioned Grant Delpit and the true freshman Derek Stingley Jr., their best pure cover guy on the outside.
We might see him locked up on Lamb through much of the day, as he is right now. Third down, nearly 17. Clearly a pro LSU crowd here in SEC country. Very conservative play call, and nothing doing for Kennedy Brooks.
And right away, you see the difference in how LSU is going to try to play this Oklahoma offense. They're going to try to close space in the running game, and they're going to close space in the passing game by getting up in press coverage. Sean, that was 3rd and 17, and it was still press man-to-man by LSU on defense. They do not want to give free access to these wide receivers, particularly CeeDee Lamb.
Derek Stingley, the freshman, back for the punt from Reeves Munshaw out of New Braunfels, Texas. Had an excellent first year as a starter, and right on cue, a shank. That'll come up short of midfield. And here comes the Heisman Trophy winner.
Joe Burrow, 6'4" senior from Athens, Ohio.
First man in SEC history to throw for 4,000 yards and 40 or more touchdown passes. Set the SEC single season marks for passing yardage and passing touchdowns. And a very talented cast everywhere you look around him. Chris Curry gets the starter running back. Wide open is Thaddeus Moss. Chopped down after a first down to the 25-yard line. Pat Fields, the safety, made the stop for OU.
And a little RPO. That was run blocking up front by the LSU offense. Good play fake by Curry. And that's Joe Burrow just reading it and getting the ball to Thaddeus Moss. And I think Thaddeus Moss, in the absence of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I don't think is going to play at all, I think Moss is going to have a bigger role in the offense today.
And Orgeron told us they'd line up wide receivers in the backfield. They did there with Jamar Chase over the middle. A gain inside the 20 to Terrace Marshall. Part of a deep and enormously talented receiver group. Another stop for Pat Fields.
Just as soon as I say that, here comes Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now. And I don't think they'll miss him in the running game nearly as much as the passing game. 50 catches, most of that in the second half of the year.
First team All-SEC after the play fake, the slant, the catch, and the touchdown for Justin Jefferson. They get in the red zone, they score, and they score touchdowns, and they did it again. They scored 97% of the time in the red zone. Best in the country. And the extra point up and good by Cade York. So a flawless start for LSU. A 3-and-out on defense. And after the short punt, the quick strike offense gets them ahead 7-0.
The board first with the touchdown pass to Jefferson. He's just going to run a little slant here, but the key is this safety, Justin Broyles. This is the guy that was taking the place of the injured Delarian Turner-Yell. Burrow sees him come up on the fake to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He throws it right behind him, and they get the touchdown. And again, Broyles was reading the fake. I don't know if Clyde Edwards-Helaire was just in there just to be a decoy. If he was, it worked perfectly because it drew the coverage up.
There's Avery Atkins to kick off again. Another bomb. Down to the sideline, here's Holly.
Well, guys, a tragic situation unfolding for the LSU football family today. Earlier today, we found out that a small aircraft departed from Lafayette, Louisiana, bound for this game. And aboard that flight, among 5 passengers that have died, was LSU offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger's daughter-in-law. Carly McCord was a 30-year-old sports reporter from New Orleans. She got on that flight early today. Her husband, Steve Jr., was already here for this game. Coach Ensminger is going to coach this game today, and Ed Orgeron had to be the one to tell him the news, guys. A very difficult day in Tiger family.
Wow. Unspeakably sad. Can only imagine what's going through his heart and mind right now. And
Full start. Number 2, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
CeeDee Lamb guilty of the penalty. We found out the news a couple hours before kickoff, Todd, and it was impossible for us to really focus on preparing for the game. Joe Brady alongside, they share the play calling duties, and it would be understandable today if Joe Brady handled more of the load, because I have to imagine Steve Ensminger's mind is elsewhere, understandably so.
What a good man he is.
Oh, such a good man. Kennedy Brooks. Shoved out of bounds by Kerry Vincent, and really in the happiest part of his life.
Yes.
He's an LSU man. Steve Ensminger was a fine quarterback in the late 70s, and he coached for 30 years. He said it was the honor of my life when Les Miles brought me back 30 years after I left LSU to be an assistant coach, made the offensive coordinator. This year welcomed Joe Brady, who is responsible largely for the passing attack that has set records. But they have been so deferential and respectful of each other. Our condolences and much more than that to the Ensminger family. Incomplete pass. The rough start continues for Jalen Hurts and the Sooners.
Again, I made this point before the game, Sean. Oklahoma plays in the Big 12. There's not many teams defensive backfield-wise that feel they can match up with the receivers at Oklahoma. So there's a lot of off coverage in that league. LSU plays very little off coverage, and they really felt, Dave Aranda felt, they don't like contact, they don't like hands on them, but that's exactly what we're going to do.
Under pressure, Hurts just had to throw it away in the general direction to CeeDee Lamb. Marcel Brooks, very talented true freshman safety, he's an excellent blitzer, was part of that pressure.
Well, they tried to go play fake with Kennedy Brooks, and sometimes you have to tell them back. If there's a blitz coming and it's your guy, which that's the case, you got to get rid of the fake. You have to pick up the blitz more than make the play fake. Kennedy Brooks gets out of position because of the fake. Can't get back to make the block.
Reeves Munshaw, much better punt this time, and a fair catch made by Derek Stingley inside the 30-yard line. So here comes Joe Burrow, enormously popular in 2 years on the Bayou. Changed the spelling of his name in the back of his jersey on senior night. We mentioned the SEC records, the passing yardage mark held by Tim Couch, the touchdowns by Drew Lock. Already reeled in a conference title, Conference Player of the Year, the Heisman Trophy, but aiming for a bigger fish, 2 wins away from the national title. Good thing his passing is more accurate than that last cast. Deep throw. Incomplete for Terrace Marshall, spinning along the far sideline with Trey Brown in coverage.
Trey Brown has great speed. He was a great track runner in high school, one of the fastest on the team, was in excellent position. He's much undersized compared to Terrace Marshall. Marshall's 6'4", 200 pounds. Trey Brown only 5'10", 181, but that speed kept him right in the hip pocket of the receiver Marshall. Again, Chris Curry is the first back we're seeing. He's a physical guy. He's a redshirt freshman, so he's a year older than the other 2 backups.
And just 22 carries all year. Caleb Kelly made the tackle on that Curry run, and these are 2 programs, at most positions at least, when someone goes down, there's at least a 3-star recruit behind, usually a 4, sometimes a 5.
In the case of Curry, he came in the game late in the Georgia game and actually ran pretty well, and I think that gave them confidence that he could be a go-to guy tonight if they needed him.
Burrow protected by the offensive line that won the Joe Moore Award as the best in the country. Jamar Chase, #1, the best receiver in the country. He won the Biletnikoff Award. Very little pressure. Now there is. He's in trouble and down. Turned it into a gain of a yard. But taken down by LaRon Stokes, who's likely to see more action today with Ronnie Perkins, their leading sack man, suspended.
It was only a 3-man rush, but a nice little stunt. Watch the move here to loop around. That kind of created a problem. Now LSU is a 5-man protection team. It should be 5 blocking 3, but that time the little twist in the stunt created some confusion for that outstanding offensive line.
And a key member of that line, the right guard Damian Lewis, is the injured player.
The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. It's the little things that make game day worth celebrating. AT&T and Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem.
Both of these quarterbacks grew up around football. Both sons of coaches. Jalen Hurts' dad, Avery On, his high school coach at Channelview in the Houston, Texas area. And the Hurts family here today, as you might expect.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride for them as well.
They've been through a lot of emotions with their son in this building. Of course, as they take off the field, Damian Lewis walked very gingerly to the cart. That did not look good. Second team all-conference guard, but they do have some talented backups. When they come back on offense, it'll likely be Ed Ingram, who started a few games this year in at guard. Here's Zach Von Rosenberg to punt.
to C.D. Lamb. He's returned one punt for a touchdown this year. Short tumbling punt. And it takes a bad bounce for Von Rosenberg, the 29-year-old who spent 6 years in the minor leagues with the Pittsburgh Pirates as a pitcher. Monday night, 8 p.m. on ESPN, the Capital One Orange Bowl from Miami, Florida. Winners of 10 games in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 08 and 09, taking on Virginia, the 7th different winner of the ACC Coastal Division in the last 7 years. What a great job Bronco Mendenhall has done there. And good luck to the Cavaliers as they make their first appearance ever in the Orange Bowl.
Well, the third possession now for Oklahoma. They got to get this guy the ball. C.D. Lamb is a dynamic difference maker. They got to figure out a way to get him the football.
And Derek Stingley, the freshman, was pressed right up on him. Hurts takes off running, gets about 5, and I think you and I believe that's the key to the game on offense for Oklahoma. Can they block well enough? It's a very big but not particularly mobile defensive line for LSU. Can they block well enough to get Hurts going?
Yeah, and they've got to try to create angles. That's what this offensive line and the way their tight ends and H-backs block. They really create excellent angles. They're not necessarily an overpowering offensive line, but they do understand angles, and that creates creases and space in their run game.
Their offensive line won the Joe Moore Award last year, but brought back only one starter, the center, Creed Humphrey, who's outstanding. The other 4 were all NFL draft picks. There's plenty of room for Hurts. And he has the first down of the game for the Sooners. He was blasted at the end by the freshman Mo Hampton.
Well, Caleb Von Chason is going to take an inside move. He's going to go inside, which plays right into the hands, as that's what Jalen Hurts reads. It's a zone read. He sees all that space to the outside. That's a defense that didn't have the edge properly defended. That's what Ed Orgeron told Holly before the game. They had to be good setting the edge, particularly against the quarterback run.
And now a false start penalty against Oklahoma.
False start. Number 56. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And congratulations to Stuart Mullins and this entire crew from the ACC. They are here by virtue of their outstanding work as highly graded officials during the season. This is an all-star crew. It's the best out of the ACC at each of their positions, so some of these guys have not worked together during the year. 8.5 to go, first quarter. Hurts turned in the direction of nobody, lofts it out in the flat, caught by Braden Willis, and he's close to midfield. He's taken over as the primary target. It was essentially the tight end position after they lost Grant Calcaterra, first team all-conference last year. Had to give up football because of recurring head injuries. That was a big loss. They go quickly. Plenty of time for Jalen. Single coverage. Deep ball up for grabs. And caught by C.D. Lamb near the goal line with Jacoby Stevens in coverage.
See, by putting him in the slot, they got him on the safety instead of the corner Stingley. That's a matchup that favors Oklahoma. Stevens is better around the line of scrimmage. He's not a cover guy. Jalen Hurts read it. The formation created the matchup, and they exploited it with the deep throw.
Hurts likes to run it in down here. He gave it to Kennedy Brooks. Touchdown! He powered his way in. After the 51-yard pass play, got them to the doorstep.
The bread and butter play of the Oklahoma offense is the counter play where they pull the backside guard in the tackle. Watch the back start that way and fold it back inside and power his way into the end zone. He starts by following it. There's penetration at the point of attack, and he wisely uses his vision to cut it backside to get the touchdown.
Gabe Burkich, redshirt freshman, on to try to tie it. We waited till after he kicked it to say he still has not missed a kick all year. Field goals or extra points. Gabe, by the way, does not believe in the announcer jinx. C.D. Lamb was a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award. He thought he was the best receiver in the country. Jamar Chase won it. Brooks did the rest. Midway through the first quarter. Aerial coverage above Mercedes-Benz Stadium provided by Goodyear, recognizing those who strive to rise above the rest. Goodyear more driven. And this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will once again make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Tied at 7. As Gabe Burkich kicks off, showing his strong leg. He's out of Chardon, Ohio, just east of Cleveland. Here's Laura Rutledge.
Well, Sean, there's been no panic on this Oklahoma sideline with the offense. And after CeeDee Lamb's long catch that led to the Kennedy Brooks touchdown, he came over to the Oklahoma sideline, and some of the guys were trying to hug him and give him a lot of congrats. And he looked at him and said, no, this is what we're supposed to do. Opted for handshakes instead. Lincoln Riley talking to Jalen Hurts throughout the early parts of this game and told him before that touchdown drive, we've got to get the run game going more. We expect to see more of that as this game carries on.
Tied at 7. Midway through the first quarter, LSU back on offense. They bring pressure off the corner. Burrow got it off to Justin Jefferson. He weaves across the 40. Justin Briles in there for the injured Delarian Turner-Yell. Missed a tackle, and Pat Fields came to his aid.
And it's off coverage, too, so it's an easy throw and catch on that out route against off coverage, and the missed tackle just adds insult to injury.
And after the play fake, the quick strike, Burrow on target as usual. And across midfield with another first down goes Justin Jefferson to the Sooner 43.
Now LSU is getting away with getting some linemen downfield. That's about the third RPO they've run. That time, Adrian McGee, the left guard, was clearly downfield on that slant route. They're showing run, and then Joe Burrow is choosing to pass off of it.
Here comes pressure from Oklahoma. Burrow plenty of time. On target to Terrace Marshall. Circles to the 35-yard line. Parnell Motley's had a very good year at cornerback. Made the tackle.
You know, Marshall was a little slow getting up on the long pass down the right sideline that was incomplete. And that time he took a pretty good hard shot to the back at the end of the catch. He's missed time. You know, the reason his numbers are less, significantly less than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase is because he missed 4 or 5 games with injury early, 3 games.
In the middle of the season. Still at 10 touchdown receptions. Ed Ingram is in at left guard. Adrian McGee has moved from left guard to right guard for the injured Damian Lewis. Ingram was a top recruit a couple of years back. Kenneth Murray, Oklahoma's leading tackler, made the stop on Chris Curry, and they bark at each other. It's a first down for LSU, just shy of the 30.
Thaddeus Moss, we've already seen him catch the ball. Watch him in the run game. He's a very good blocker. He likes contact. Of course, that's Randy Moss's son. Not just an excellent receiver like his dad, a very physical run blocker as well.
Joe Burrow told us Moss is one of his closest friends, and he's very unsung, Joe feels, on this team. Up for grabs, nearly intercepted. Excellent coverage by Parnell Motley as he knocked down a ball intended for Stephon Sullivan.
Parnell Motley has played really well down the stretch, and we saw him in the Big 12 championship game. He was locked up on Denzel Mims, their best receiver, held him to 0 catches, and that time he was in perfect position to make a play on the football. Playing with a lot of confidence right now from his corner position.
Senior out of Washington, D.C. Clyde Edwards-Helaire came into the game, and then he went wide to the left near the numbers near sideline.
This usually signifies they want to throw the ball to inside receivers. You got Jefferson and Chase on that side together.
2nd and 10. They're in field goal range. Burrow checks it down to Jefferson. Wrestled down about 1.5 yards short of the first down by Justin Broyles. Here's Holly.
Terrace Marshall Jr. just went through a battery of tests on the sideline after that hit to his head. They did a bunch of index fingers to the nose, balance tests. He did pass all those tests and will return.
All right, Holly, thank you. On the handoff, Edwards-Helaire gets the carry. Nothing wrong with the hamstring on that run. As usual, he bullsed his way with a positive gain inside the 10-yard line. They're going to huddle up very quickly.
Ed Ingram in there starting at left guard with a powerful block on that side.
They get to the line in a blink of an eye, and it's Edwards-Helaire again. Neville Gallimore and LaRon Stokes made the tackle. There was some debate including on the ESPN airwaves, about maybe they should just rest him. You know, they're a 2-touchdown favorite. Rest him for the national championship game. I thought that was a bunch of garbage myself.
A hamstring is a tricky injury. If you tweak it, then you set yourself back. But obviously, he feels good. They've trained him. He just has not had any practice. But obviously, the treatment has worked, and he feels pretty good at this point because it did not show any signs on those 2 runs.
Jamar Chase now lined up on the left hip of Burrow. He feels the rush so well and throws for a touchdown. Terrace Marshall, after the quick checkup when he hit his head, back on the field into the end zone. It's 13-7.
The first look on a play like that is going to be to Jamar Chase. He's in the backfield. You want to try to get him isolated on a linebacker or a safety. They covered that. And you see how these receivers are able to adjust and move with Joe Burrow. As he moves in the pocket, they adjust their routes, and that's exactly what Marshall did for his 11th touchdown catch of the season.
Here's the 18-year-old freshman kicker, Cade York, with the 29-year-old holder, Zach von Rosenberg, and the extra point is good. And LSU goes back on top. Joe Burrow, 8 out of 10 and 2 touchdowns. College football playoff national championship weekend in New Orleans is going to be the place to be, whether your favorite team is in the game or not. Learn about all of the events and festivities for CFP's championship campus at www.collegefootballplayoff.com. Don't miss out on the biggest weekend in college football. It's Charleston Rambo back now for the kickoff from Avery Atkins. They had Trey Brown back there previously. It usually doesn't matter. This guy is a touchback machine. Low line drive. They want to cover the kick, and here comes Rambo. The squib kick looks like a mistake. Now it's the kicker, Atkins, the sophomore out of Auburn, Alabama, who had to run him down. Interesting decision there not to just drive it to the back of the end zone again. Here's today's Capital One rewarding performance.
Well, that started with this power run by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Ran over the new starting strong safety, Justin Broyles. Weren't sure how much he was going to play. Shows no signs of the injury. And then on the touchdown right here, watch the adjustment that is made by Terrace Marshall. When the quarterback scrambled, he deepened it to the end zone, got a little help from the official, and turned it into a touchdown, adjusting with his quarterback.
Jalen Hurts pressured immediately and throws it away at the feet of CeeDee Lamb, the big middle of that defensive front. Tyler Shelvin at 6'3", 346. Put the pressure on. We talked to Dave Aranda yesterday, the defensive coordinator, Todd. He said all of our guys up front are nose guards.
Yeah, they all look the same. They're all 300-pound guys. They play. They rotate 3 different guys in. They even have a set for this game because of the run game where they'll have 5 guys that look like that in at the same time in short yardage.
Aranda said Shelvin's our best defensive lineman with athleticism and quickness, and he displayed that at almost 350 pounds. They fake a reverse. And it is Hurts who wound up with the ball in his hand, batted down by Jacoby Stevens.
Yeah, they went with a direct snap to Kennedy Brooks, and he handed the ball off to Hurts. They were trying to get the football again to Jalen Hurts. And good pressure defense. And right now, the plan that Dave Aranda wanted to try to do to squeeze space and take space away from this Oklahoma offense, for the most part, has worked. They did give up the long pass to CeeDee Lamb, but for the most part, they've been able to squeeze down on this Oklahoma offense.
Hall of Famer Randy Moss here cheering on his son, the LSU tight end Thaddeus Moss, cheering on the defense right now, looking for a stop. And another 3 and out on 3rd down and 10. They tried to bring pressure. Hurts running out of time, just lofts it in the air, and they yank down the receiver. Stingley pulled down the receiver. There's still no flag on the near sideline. Jaden Hazelwood, the intended target. Marcel Brooks, part of a blitz.
Yeah, he definitely grabbed him and altered his course. That very easily and should have been pass interference. Stingley knew he was beat, and he's just trying to catch up. But at the end, the contact wasn't the problem. The fact that he grabbed the arm and pulled him away from the play. That's what has Lincoln Riley rightfully upset.
Well, that is just a total whiff by the officials, and a big whiff at that. Reeves Munshaw is the punter. Stingley, who just got away with one, lets the ball roll out. And it'll be down at the 14-yard line. Let's bring in Matt Austin, who retired after a distinguished officiating career when he worked in the semifinal of the Cotton Bowl last year. Matt, I think we're going to give you an easy one on your first chance today, but what say you about this play?
Well, thanks, Sean. I agree wholeheartedly with Todd. He was beat. He saw he was going down, thought he was going to get a completed pass there, just grabbed the bicep and pulled him to the ground. So definitely should have been a foul. There's 3 officials out there looking at it. The flag probably should have come from the middle of the field. The official on the sideline probably had a tough view, but should have been a foul.
As the side judge, George Leotis, because he was nearest getting the earful from Lincoln Riley. Burrow looked deep, checked it down to Chris Curry, and he gets about 10. Looks like they'll mark him with about 9, and they average 9.5 yards on first down for the year. Almost every first down yields another first down.
And that's their 9th first down play and their 8th pass, which is also a big difference from what LSU ever was in football.
Chris Curry got rocked by K9. Kenneth Murray, the best player on that Oklahoma defense. First team all Big 12 this season.
Watch Kenneth Murray beat the block of Sadiq Charles. He uses his quickness. He gets by the tackle into the backfield for a negative yardage play on second down.
3 minutes to go in an entertaining first quarter. National semifinal #1 from the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. 3rd down and 2 for LSU. They've twice led by a touchdown.
Jamar Chase has been very quiet so far for LSU.
Burrow, plenty of time, running out of time, retreating. Murray tries to help rush as he reaches the sideline. He lobs it up, and it is caught by Terrace Marshall.
My only question was Terrace Marshall out of bounds. He was out of bounds, I think, and was not forced out. I guess you could say maybe, but then he comes back in and makes a catch. Trey Brown was in coverage. Matt, is it a difference of whether he was forced out? If he's forced out, he can come back in and make the catch, correct?
Yeah, Todd, you're exactly correct. Really, the officials are going to err on the side of a force out. So if there's much contact over there at all, they're going to say he's out of bounds. The official had his hat down. He saw the whole thing. He can come back in, and as long as he reestablishes his feet, he can catch the ball. So good call on the sideline.
Kenneth Murray limps off. That would be a disaster for Oklahoma. He joined the rush late. And how about Joe Burrow? They talk about all of his attributes. Steve Ensminger said #1 to him, the toughness.
Yes.
But his ability to avoid the rush. Yep. You know, in some ways he reminds me in that regard of Tom Brady. He's in the pocket, that half a step, the 1 step in the right direction just to free himself up. But even when he gets out of the pocket, he can extend the play for so long. He completed a pass against Georgia in this building in the SEC title game when he ran around for more than 8 seconds. And that had to be 8 seconds or close to it.
Does a great job of keeping his eyes downfield. And then when he does decide to run, he makes great decisions, and he's a better runner. I'd say he's faster than Tom Brady when he comes to running.
No doubt.
Challenge the ruling on the field.
He has hurt a lot of teams this year with his running ability. Steve Ensminger told us, I like when he gets hit because it kind of gets him more engaged in the game if that's possible. A lot of the LSU folks pointed to the hit he took back in the Fiesta Bowl last year against Central Florida. He threw a pick 6, and he got lit up on the interception return by UCF for a touchdown, and his teammates were so impressed with the way he got up off the mat, led them from 14-3 down after this pick 6 to win the game. Watch the hit he takes from Joey Connors, who then stands over him. I don't even want to justify that with the description.
I remember reading about that and him saying it really hurt, but I couldn't lay there. I had to get up. You know, my team needed me to get up, but it really hurt when it happened.
He didn't miss a snap. His parents, Robin and Jimmy, undoubtedly were concerned. Wound up throwing for 394 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I talked to Zach Von Rosenberg, the punter for LSU, and I said, what was the highlight of the year so far? He said, watching Joe go from Joe to Super Joe. And I said, when did that happen? He said, in the Fiesta Bowl last year. And that's really when he won his teammates over. There's Von Rosenberg. Joe Burrow told us yesterday, last year, when they opened the season against Miami in Arlington, Texas, he didn't know the names of several of his teammates because he had just arrived in the summer as a transfer from Ohio State.
Had to graduate before he could go, and that's, you know, we talk about, okay, what caused the change? The addition of Joe Brady to the coaching staff, huge. I mean, what he brought from the New Orleans Saints, the 5-man protection, releasing 5 guys out, the emergence of the wide receivers and development.
The receiver was forced out of bounds, reestablished inbounds, and was the first to touch the pass. 1st and 10.
But also, I think a big part of his development is having that full off season, that spring and summer with his wide receivers, and he was getting them to go run routes for him. He was learning them. He was understanding them. That made as much of a difference as anything in their offensive taking off this year.
And Joe told us yesterday he thinks that's the biggest reason for the improvement in his own play and their offense. Collectively, he said obviously Joe Brady and the spread offense was a big part. He said, but I think we would have been much better just by the benefit of the 8 months together in an off season. He wasn't there for spring practice last year, still led them to a 10-3 season, including that victory in the Fiesta Bowl. Through the hole, Chris Curry, and he bounces off a hit for a few more yards. Down to the 35-yard line of Oklahoma, run up 19 for Chris Curry.
Really good job by the left guard in the center. Watch him turn the nose guard in there. The left tackle, Sadiq Charles, with a nice block. And that's what they like about Curry. He doesn't mess around in the hole. He is a north-south runner, runs with power. And he's giving him a little bit of a spark here running the football.
1 yard shy of his longest run of the season. Well, ideally, they'd like to get a big lead. Every team likes to get a big lead, but in their case, it would give them a chance perhaps to rest Edwards-Helaire.
You got Brian Meade in here right now, too, in place of Kenneth Murray.
And a big drop off there. Burrow avoids the rush. On target again. Justin Jefferson, the ball was up out of bounds. He didn't catch it.
Yep. Did not complete a football move after the catch. It was a good throw. He had it, but as he started to turn upfield, just didn't secure the football. It's close, though.
Yep, but wobbling around really the whole time as he took a look at Justin Broyles, who was approaching.
He was wanting to stiff arm, it looked like, and he with his right hand, and he didn't secure the football with his left arm to make the catch.
Well, that goes as an incomplete pass for Burrow. Now 10 out of 13 as he tries to set the single season completion percentage mark. We're into the game at 77-9. That would be the record. Throwing deep, has him in, another touchdown. Jefferson hangs on this time for 6 points.
Well, he didn't drop this one. Another beautiful throw. He's in the slot. It's off coverage again. And unfortunately, it's Justin Broyles again, the new safety. You get a safety matched up on a wide receiver. That's to your advantage. And Joe Burrow found the matchup, and he exploited it for a touchdown.
Second touchdown catch for Jefferson. Third touchdown pass in the quarter for Burrow. The extra point good for Cade York, and it's 21-7 with 1:16 to go in the first quarter. 51 touchdown passes this year for Joe Burrow, who, when the season began, according to our friend and colleague Todd McShay, might have been a last day draft pick. 4th, 5th, 6th round, perhaps at best. And now most people believe he's going to be the #1 pick. I know our director, Scott Johnson, a Cincinnati Bengal fan, hopes he's a Cincinnati Bengal.
Well, he's just been so good knowing exactly where to go with the football. He doesn't take a lot of hits. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way. He's accurate. Alex Grinch says, I don't even know who to compare him to because he doesn't miss any throws. I mean, he's at almost 80% completion for the year, which is staggering. And he's not throwing dink and dunk stuff. He's throwing the football down the field for big plays at a high rate of efficiency.
They're still working on Kenneth Murray on the sideline. Playing without Ronnie Perkins, their leading sack man. Without starting safety Larry and Turner Yell. That's in addition to injuries that they had earlier in the year. Alex Grinch said we cannot afford any more injuries on defense, and that one would be to their best player if he can't return. Another touchback off the foot of Avery Atkins. They got away from the squib kick, wisely so. Here's Laura Rutledge.
Well, Sean, as you mentioned, Kenneth Murray is still being worked on by Oklahoma athletic trainers on this sideline. He's tried to get up and run and jog, tried to jump a little bit over here, but every time the noticeable limp when he tries to walk or run or do anything, they're massaging that right hamstring, and that's what they've been working on. He's just now gotten on the bike. We'll keep you posted. He's trying very hard to get back in this game.
One of the 12 semifinalists for the Buckus Award is the best linebacker in the country. And their leading tackler. Hurts off the hands of Kennedy Brooks and incomplete.
Tried a little finesse screen. It was set up pretty well. Just not a very good throw by Jalen Hurts, who's kind of having a tough start throwing the football, other than the long throw to CeeDee Lamb. Pressure by LSU has had a part to play in that.
72 yards for Oklahoma, 51 of them on the one long pass play to CeeDee Lamb to set up their touchdown. Hurts pulls it down. Great maneuverability, and he's a yard short of the first down. Good tackle by Neil Farrell to force third down.
That was a quarterback draw all the way, and really LSU was in pretty good position, but it's a mismatch. Those big dudes trying to move laterally to stop a guy like Jalen Hurts. He can make the first guy miss pretty effectively.
He's 2 for 8 passing for 54. He's carried 4 times for 19 yards. One of the best teams in the country on third down this season hasn't moved the chains on third down today. Hurts again delivers a stiff arm, turn the corner. Out of bounds, chased out by Jacob Phillips, and Lincoln Riley wants a flag for a late hit as it looked like the tackle extended for a while across the boundary.
Does a nice job of getting outside Jacoby Stevens. Pretty good block by the tight end. Jay Braden Willis, he gets outside, and there's what Lincoln Riley wanted, the tackle clearly outside the white. Again, Jalen Hurts now has carried the football 5 times. I think he's got to be up in that 20 to 25 range in this football game for them to be in position to win. Part of that is controlling the football and keeping LSU's offense off the field.
That's the end of the first quarter. LSU leading 21-7, the most first quarter points allowed by Oklahoma this season. You're watching the 2019 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, when's the national championship game?
I think we can answer that. It's Monday, January 13th at 8 Eastern time on ESPN. Here's the college football playoff top 4 bracket brought to you by AT&T. Terrific one tonight at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl in beautiful Glendale, Arizona. Ohio State and Clemson. Most people seem to think LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson are a cut above this Oklahoma team. So far, it looks like LSU's a cut above.
Well, I think everybody thought those 3 were a cut above, you know, and for Ohio State and Clemson, not only explosive offenses, great quarterbacks, but the 2 best defenses in college football going at it as well.
21-7 LSU. Jalen Hurts under duress throws it away. Oklahoma had given up only 42 points in the first quarter in 13 games this year prior to today. LSU got half that many in the first quarter of this Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
LSU is getting pretty consistent pressure from their defensive front. Now the big guys are not going to really rush the passer great. Chason is going to do most of that from that outside edge position, but they're forcing Jalen Hurts to leave the pocket, and he's had to throw the football away a few times already in the ball game.
Canby Brooks avoids a couple of tackles and is tackled by Calebon Chason. Christian Fulton, the corner, had a chance to drop him for a loss and missed. Lincoln Riley is the play caller, the head coach, one of the great offensive minds in football. He said the play along the offensive line would be the key today. Another deep ball. C.D. Lamb couldn't run under that one, but Kerry Vincent is a member of the LSU track team as a sprinter, running step for step with him.
But he is a safety. He's had cornerback experience, so they got the matchup they wanted again in terms of their best receiver in the slot against a safety. That ball was thrown a little bit too far outside by Jalen Hurts to make the play.
So here's Reeves Munshaw. In the words of Coach Riley's had a phenomenal year. This is a beauty. Didn't get a good bounce into the end zone. It goes. But when you have a season as LSU has had, you build a trophy case. Ed Orgeron, National Coach of the Year. Joe Brady won the Royals Award, passing game coordinator. Top assistant coach. Joe Burrow, too numerous to mention, just a smattering of his awards on that graphic, most notably the Heisman Trophy. Jamar Chase won the Bolitnikoff Award, Grant Delpit the Thorpe Award, and the offensive line won the Joe Moore Award as the best of the country. Joe Burrow in that picture, he said, "I consider myself an honorary offensive lineman," and that was the award that meant the most to Burrow. Swings it out for Chris Curry, who is still turning as the ball arrived. It's incomplete.
Well, good news for Oklahoma. Kenneth Murray back on the field. He's such a key part of their defense. Makes so many plays, makes calls, plays with great speed and tenacity. It's good for them to have him back on the field. And I think that little misfire right there, you see the difference between not having Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming out of the backfield for Joe Burrow.
For sure. That felt like one that would have been a completion if it was Clyde. Just joining us, Edwards-Helaire's played sparingly. He's had 2 carries. Burrow, deep ball. That one's well covered by Justin Broyles.
They've gone after Justin Broyles tonight, but he was in perfect position that time. You know, when you play defensive back, particularly you play in a defense where there's a lot of man coverage, one of your biggest skills has to be a short-term memory loss. You have to be able to forget bad plays and move on to the next play with confidence.
Broyles has averaged about 15 snaps per game on defense. For just joining us, he's in for the injured Delarian Turner-Yell. Well, he was a top recruit, #1 ranked player in the state of Oklahoma, coming out of John Marshall High School in Oklahoma City, 4-star recruit nationally on a 5-star system. Burrow flush to his right. Now takes off running, has a long way to go, and it looks like he got there. He did, with a yard to spare. Chased out by Brendan Radley-Hiles.
Well, watch Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to chip right here first and then run the drag route, and then watch the block he's going to get at the end of the play. It's his block. Actually, he got leveled by Braden Radley-Hiles, and that's what enabled Joe Burrow to get to the first down. That could have been one of those blindside plays as well that they changed the rule on this year.
Well, my question to you would be, shouldn't Radley-Hiles been more interested in running down Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I would have thought. I think they're going to take a look. I think Ed Orgeron wants them to take a look at this. And whether it was a targeting foul, it was clearly a shot at Clyde Edwards-Helaire and not to make a play on the football.
And Lincoln Riley with a chat with Brendan Radley-Hiles. Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, what do you think about this play?
Well, I'd like to see the replay again, but there definitely was significant contact.
That's a thrust too, right?
Absolutely. It's an attack. It's high. It looked like he did get into the helmet also, so this could very well be a targeting play.
Oh boy, if that isn't, what is?
Yeah, and I think that's why Ed Orgeron called timeout, to ensure that they would take another look at this.
And we go back to the beginning of the telecast. Laura Rutledge talked about the suspensions and the injury to Delarian Turner-Yell.
Yes.
We spoke to Alex Grinch yesterday. He said There's a reason why we don't play many guys in the
Early
defensive backfield.
Play, there was not targeting is under further review.
He said we just don't have a lot of depth. He said we cannot afford another injury or loss in the secondary. And if they lose Radley Hiles, their 5th leading tackler, you just wonder how they're going to replace him.
Well, they have to replace him with a true freshman. I mean, it's either going to be Woody Washington or Jeremiah Cradell that's going to have to come in if in fact they lose Radley Hiles.
Here's Delarian Turner-Yell, injured in the lead up to the bowl game. Reportedly a collarbone injury, and Coach Riley told us yesterday it's unlikely he would play even if they made the national championship game. And that's a big loss. 2nd leading tackler. Started every game this season. Sophomore out of Hempstead, Texas.
Yeah, he's a real run and hit guy. He was a guy who just got better and better the more the year went on. See, there's Woody Washington, who Turner-Yell's talking to him right now, saying if you go in, this is what you have to do. He's a true freshman. He's trying to get him coached up on the sideline in case his number's called.
And the way they're talking to him, don't you get the feeling they think it's targeting and he's going to have to go in there?
I think they might, yeah.
They've seen the same replays that you've seen at home. Stuart Mullins is the referee. Bill Hanlon, the replay official. Tom Zamorski in the booth, too.
There was targeting on the play by number 44. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down. And number 44.
Well, it's so unfortunate that he's going to have to leave the game, but it's the right call. I mean, that was clearly a cheap shot. It was a launch. It was high. It was the right call, and it's a huge loss for Oklahoma.
No, it's really dumb, too. I mean, how you think in this day and age of football you're going to get away with that?
Well, and the worst part, it's not even a receiver going to catch the ball. I mean, it's completely away from where the football was.
It's everything that they're trying to get out of football. So 1st and 10 at the 46. Burrow showing that running ability again. Wisely dives down after a 12-yard gain to the Oklahoma 42 and a first down.
This is one of the things that he's done exceptionally well this year is run the football. He makes good decisions when to run. In fact, nearly 50% of the times he does run, the result is that, a first down. He knows when to run, and he doesn't mess around. He goes north and south and gets the yardage he needs.
47% of the time that he runs, he gets a first down. That's the highest percentage first downs gained via the run in the country at any position. Short throw almost intercepted by Trey Brown, who stepped in front of Thaddeus Moss. That might have been a pick 6.
And that was the kind of play that Oklahoma desperately needed. Only 11 takeaways on the season. This one was a chance not only to be a pick, but to be a pick 6 for Trey Brown and a new football game if that would have happened.
Alex Grinch, when we mentioned the 11 takeaways, said it makes me want to be physically ill. We'll clean it up for family audience. Dinner time in a lot of the country.
Yeah, he just said they had so many dropped interceptions, balls that they've had their hands on that they couldn't come down with.
Burrow dodges the rush, going for Jefferson again. It's another touchdown, and he beat Woody Washington newly into the game for the ejected Radley Hiles.
Well, Woody Washington, I mean, he was beat right away. He got flat-footed in coverage. Watch Woody Washington just get flat-footed right there. And as soon as that happened, Jefferson ran right by him. And Joe Burrow, I mean, he's got that killer instinct. He's going to find the matchup. He's going to find the new guy, and he's going to exploit it. And he did again for a touchdown. Woody Washington, his first pass coverage play of the ball game, and he's exploited for a touchdown.
Highly recruited was Washington, 4 stars out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. But in for a tough spot there. Had just 6 tackles all year. Has not played a lot. Cade York hooks it just inside the left upright. What a half for Justin Jefferson. Been targeted 8 times. He has 6 catches for 136 yards and now 3 touchdowns. Burrow's thrown 4, number 1 up by 21. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Rise above. Wildcard weekend begins January 4th. We'll broadcast our game simultaneously on ESPN and ABC for the 5th straight year with the matchup day and time determined after Week 17's games. You can always watch it live on the ESPN app from anywhere. Record-setting first half for the LSU Tigers, leading Oklahoma 28-7. 4 touchdown passes already for Joe Burrow.
And what he's doing is he's finding and exploiting the matchups of his best receivers on safeties. This was the first touchdown to Justin Jefferson. Jefferson has 6 catches for 136 yards. Just about every catch has been in a matchup that favors him against the safety. This time Justin Broyles, the new starting strong safety. And then that last touchdown against the freshman Woody Washington. First time in the game, they went right at him, and they're exploiting the matchups, and that's good coaching, good play calling, and good quarterbacking.
It's already tied the single game playoff record with 4 touchdown passes, some trickery. They need a big play, and instead it's intercepted. Picked off by Kerry Vincent, intended for Nick Basquin.
It's such a slow developing play that by the time Jalen threw it, Kerry Vincent had a great chance to just read it from the middle of the field. He's the middle safety. Here he is. Watch him drop into the middle of the field and just read this play develop. They try to sneak Basquin down the sideline. The ball's in the air a while, and Kerry Vincent makes a beautiful play on the football.
His 4th interception of the season, no question. He possessed it. He was in bounds, and it's a takeaway.
That now for LSU's defense, their 17th interception of the season.
This is Jalen Hurts' 7th career game in the playoff. That's the first interception he has thrown. Of course, the other 6 were with Alabama. Burrow on target to Thaddeus Moss. A gain of 11 and a first down to the Oklahoma 44.
Again, Thaddeus Moss that time working on Woody Washington. And right now, this is NFL play calling. Find the matchups that favor you and exploit it.
Chris Curry turns the corner out of bounds.
LSU right now, they smell blood in the water. They're trying to put this thing away as quickly as they can. Their defense feels fairly comfortable that they are not going to get beat by Jalen Hurts throwing the ball 40 times.
Number 81, offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's a costly penalty that works in the favor of Oklahoma's defense because they were reeling a little bit, and this one sets them back.
Against Thaddeus Moss. Well, there's 11:41 to go in the first half, and certainly Oklahoma is on the ropes right now. Very emotional day for Ed Orgeron and the LSU Tigers. If you joined us late, the LSU program rocked by the news that earlier this morning the daughter-in-law of the offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger was among 5 people killed in a plane crash near Lafayette, Louisiana. Good catch by Jefferson back across midfield. Carly McCord, well-known and well-liked sports reporter in the state of Louisiana, was married to Steve Ensminger Jr. and she died this morning in the plane crash on her way here to come to the game. Steve Ensminger found out before the game, decided to coach. But you know, as Ed Orgeron told Holly Rowe before the game, he and his family are completely devastated, as is everybody else who has had anything to do with the Ensmingers. If you're just a human being, your heart aches for these people. And as we said earlier, he's a wonderful man. And there's so much motivation in this game already, Todd. But I have a feeling they, there was no way they were going to go out there and lose this game in their minds.
Well, and for him, you can't even imagine what's going through his mind. But at least for 3 hours, he can focus on this, and he'll have a lot to deal with, obviously, in the coming days and hours. But for right now, he can try to focus on his football team.
Joe Burrow, there's a flag down as he goes down, just a little bit short of the first down at the 35-yard line.
I think we're getting illegal hands to the face on Adrian McGee. He just pushed the helmet right off.
Personal foul. Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 73. Offense. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
LSU trying to be very physical at the point of attack, and this is just an error on the part of Adrian McGee. And really right now, the penalty is the only thing that's stopping LSU's offense. And Oklahoma needs to capitalize on this. You know, the last drive, Sean, before the touchdown, they had a chance for an interception. It might even have been a pick six by Trey Brown. They don't get that, and a couple plays later, it's a touchdown. Now they've had the benefit of a couple penalties. They've got LSU in 3rd and long. They've got to come up with a stop here and get the football back. Alex Grinch's defense. This is a situation for them to make a play right here.
Burrow stepped up into the pocket, on target again. Here's Jamar Chase, tripped up, but with a first down at the 30-yard line.
Well, they tried to run that same little stunt. This time it's picked up. Joe Burrow knows he's got protection. He steps up in the pocket, but he never loses sight of Jamar Chase, who now makes his first catch in the football game, and it's a huge one on 3rd and 17.
22-yard gain. Burrow deep again, on target again. Jefferson again. Touchdown again.
Unbelievable. Watch the little hesitation by Jefferson. Just a little freezes Justin Broyles, and then he creates separation, and Joe Burrow says, I'm going to give him a chance. He gets a step on him. He's a bigger guy. I'm going to give him a chance to make a play, and Jefferson comes through.
He has scored 4 touchdowns in the half. That is the most touchdowns scored by any player in a Peach Bowl game. Previous record 3 shared by many, but he has 4 receiving on 9 catches, 11 targets, 186 yards, and there's a long way to go to the half. 4 touchdowns for Jefferson. Not much can make Steve smile today.
The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, brought to you by Cheez-It, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff, and the first ever Mazda CX-30. Feel alive.
Joe Burrow, 3 years at Ohio State, 1 redshirt year, 2 as a backup, never started a game there, transferred to LSU. In his 2nd season as their starter, he has had one of the most remarkable seasons in college football history, and it keeps getting even more remarkable. He's already set the Peach Bowl record for touchdown passes in a game. We have 9:17 to go in the first half. The previous was 4 by Jeff Blake of East Carolina, Johnny Manziel of Texas A&M. Justin Jefferson has not only set the Peach Bowl record, but nobody has ever caught 5 touchdown passes in any bowl game. He has 4 already. There have been 5 others who have caught 4 touchdown passes in any bowl game. Avery Atkins the touchback, and here's Laura Rutledge.
Well, Sean, as you might imagine, this Oklahoma defense on their heels in the Oklahoma sideline. And at this point, Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator, who is down here on the field, just trying to encourage them, especially Justin Broyles, who's been beat a few times, as well as Woody Washington, who was just forced into action and was beat immediately when he got out there on the field. Just trying to keep their heads up. And Todd, we've seen Neville Gallimore down here trying to rally the troops. Either way, it's so difficult for these guys to just figure out what they're going to do next, trying to maintain confidence in a game like this.
Yeah, it's hard. They don't have any answers right now, and nobody's had answers for LSU's offense all year.
And Jalen Hurts stuffed after a 2-yard gain.
I think LSU's defensive game plan has been executed perfectly so far. Closing space. They really are big and physical up front. They're able to clog up the running lanes, and they've given up the one play, but other than that, they just haven't. Look at the Oklahoma defense. It's just kind of been, they have not had any answers for Joe Burrow in the passing game. And this is without Clyde Edwards-Helaire really being a factor.
Big rush by Chason, and he takes Hurts down back inside the 25.
Good coverage downfield and a mismatch. Chason working on R.J. Proctor, the left tackle, and he's just too quick. Right here in the bottom of the screen, he uses his quickness. He throws him off. Inside rush. Second sack of the ball game for Calebon. Ed Orgeron very excited about that matchup. He doesn't think any of these tackles or tight ends for Oklahoma can block his best pass rusher in Calebon Chason.
Timeout LSU.
Timeout. LSU.
With Oklahoma looking at third down and 13. 8:04 to go in the half. 35-7 Tigers. Later tonight is the second game of the college football playoff semifinals from the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, the beautiful Valley of the Sun. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Clemson. The Tigers, winners of 2 of the last 3 national championships. Dr. Pepper National Championship Trophy on display just west of downtown Phoenix. Well, a lot of people thought the Buckeyes should have been number 1 coming into this playoff. LSU making the case that the committee got it right with this performance. Looked like there was some holding as Hurts dodged the rush, got it off, caught by C.D. Lamb. He nearly broke free. He's across midfield to the Tiger 49-yard line. Calebon Chason ran him down.
Well, Damone Clark really can close the pocket.
Roughing the passer. Number 8, defense. 15-yard penalty and an automatic. First down.
Really a great job by Jalen Hurts eluding the pressure, stepping up in the pocket, making the throw, and then taking the hit. Damone Clark, number 35, is the guy that's going to collapse the pocket. And then right here at the end of the throw, there you see the hit by Patrick Queen. And C.D. Lamb adjusting to the football and does what he does best, run after the catch.
He did well to hang on at the end of the play. He has 2 of their 3 receptions. Hurts is 3 for 12 for 83 and an interception. Kennedy Brooks.
Sean, this is a critical drive for Oklahoma to score a touchdown because the only chance they have offensively, they're not built to drop back and throw the football every down. They have to run the football, use play action, protect their quarterback. So they've got to get this to 35-14 so they stay within what they can do offensively. If they stay this far behind or even more, it really takes them out of the football game.
Trying to get the first win ever for the Big 12 Conference in the college football playoff here in year 6. Kennedy Brooks tackled by Jacob Phillips.
And right now, Lincoln Riley's got to be thinking, I got to do 2 things. We have to run the football. We've got to score a touchdown. And I got to keep my defense off the field because right now we have no answers for LSU's offense, and we're playing undermanned in our secondary.
On target to C.D. Lamb is Jalen Hurts, and it's another first down for Oklahoma.
Before this drive, he only had the 1 catch for the 51 yards. He was pretty quiet. Good coverage on him, and now he's up to 3 catches. And again, he is the guy they got to get the football to. LSU's had no problem getting it to Justin Jefferson today.
Who, by the way, was not a Biletnikoff Award finalist, but Todd McShay projects him as a mid-first round NFL draft pick. No weakness on that LSU offense. Hurts had CeeDee Lamb open. They could not connect. What would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, he had him, and that's a throw that Jalen Hurts has to connect with. I just think his feet weren't set. I think Jalen Hurts' feet were not set, and that's why he didn't make an accurate throw. That should be an easy throw for Jalen if he just sets his feet. You know, accuracy in throwing the football has more to do with footwork and getting your body in the right position than your arm. And that time Jalen was a little lazy with his feet, and he missed the throw.
Much improved thrower this year, 71.8% completion percentage, coming in 4th in the country. Hands it off to Kennedy Brooks. He powers ahead to the 6-yard line. Siaki Ika made the tackle, a backup in that big defensive line. They don't lose any size when he comes in. He's 354.
This is the part of the field. I know you mentioned Grant Calcaterra not being on the team anymore. This is where they miss him. He was a big target in the red zone for Lincoln Riley's offense. You got Austin Stogner, number 18, is a freshman tight end. Had a pretty good year in replacing Calcaterra.
Highly recruited. He runs a pass pattern. Hurts can't find anybody open. Fires back of the end zone. Flag down. He was trying to get it to Jaden Hazelwood, and a flag thrown on Christian Fulton along the back line to the end zone.
And Christian Fulton was in pretty good position.
Number 1, defense. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line and an automatic. First down.
He never knew where the football was. He had his back to the quarterback. He was guarding Hazelwood. Hazelwood was right by the end line, and there you can see the contact with no idea where the football was. The ball was caught, but Hazelwood was out of bounds because he was pushed out of bounds by Fulton. This is where you would expect to see Jalen Hurts run the football. They like to run a lead play where they fake it to the back and then the quarterback follows the back right up into the hole.
Hurts has 18 rushing touchdowns this season. Brooks swung down at the line of scrimmage. Grant dealt it up near the line with help from Rashard Lawrence.
Yeah, Rashard Lawrence really had a quick move inside on that play. I mean, of all those big bodies, I think he's the guy that the last couple of weeks has made the most plays. Very active, plays with a high motor. Nice play there. Now I think they might be getting into their 5-man, their heavy package. They have 5 of these defensive linemen in here. Maybe a perimeter run is better for Oklahoma with that beef inside.
It's a lot of size to try to move. They do run outside. Hurts a nice fake, and the touchdown for Oklahoma.
Really nice block by CeeDee Lamb. They run the read option. You're going to see a block come in right here by CeeDee Lamb on the linebacker. All that beef inside. Take it to the edge. Fake the pitch. Jalen Hurts gets there, but a nice block by CeeDee Lamb coming from the outside in.
One rushing touchdown away from matching the school record by a quarterback. 2-yard run. And the extra point up and good by Gabe Barkich. Can the defense stop this historically good LSU offense? Hurts trying to do his part. You're watching the 2019 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl from Atlanta. Is set. Las Vegas, February 22nd. Historic joint pay-per-view collaboration between Fox Sports and ESPN. Gabe Barkich kicks off for Oklahoma, and a touchback.
You know, Sean, you asked the question right before we went to break, can the defense get a stop? I mean, Alex Grinch obviously has got to come up with some stuff in the locker room, but he's got to come up with something right now. They can't afford to give up another touchdown here right before the half. Remember, LSU won the toss, deferred. They're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. I think they've got to play more zone and protect some of these young, inexperienced defensive backs they have in. Rush 3, drop 8, and see if they can just force Joe Burrow to throw underneath.
Chris Curry weaves through the traffic. He's done a very nice job filling the void for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who has played but not very much. That's a 13-yard run and a first down.
They love running. It's kind of like an ISO play. They bring the tight end in motion and lead him as a blocker.
On target, wide open receiver. Thaddeus Moss with one man to beat. Touchdown! Pat Fields could not get him down. Pat Fields got mossed.
This is a busted coverage, and I'm not sure what the coverage was by Oklahoma. The freshman linebacker, David Ugwebu, was the guy going out to try to reroute the tight end, but then he didn't run with him. He put hands on him, didn't run with him, and nobody ran with Thaddeus Moss down the middle of the field. Exactly what could not happen for Oklahoma.
The extra point up and good by Cade York. It's a 62-yard touchdown. Burrow to Thaddeus Moss.
Here's Moss right here. Ugwebu is going to make contact here, and then nobody's going to run with him. They roll the safety deep. Nobody goes down the slot, and that's just a bust in the Oklahoma coverage to the short side of the field. Jamar Chase drew the corner. Motley, nobody went deep in the deep third of the field. And again, Joe Burrow does not miss things. If you make a mistake, he sees it and he makes you pay for it.
He has thrown 6 touchdown passes, which ties the single game LSU record for any game in the history of the program. And he set that mark earlier this year against Vanderbilt. He has set the college football playoff record for passing yards and a half. And Justin Jefferson still sitting there with 4 receiving touchdowns, the CFP single game record for the whole game. And we're still 4 minutes plus from halftime.
You know, going back and seeing that play, if I had to guess who made a mistake there, it was Parnell Motley, the corner. He got caught coming up on the underneath route with Jamar Chase, and that should have been his deep third responsibility. And he turned it over, and again, Joe Burrow made him pay for it.
Avery Atkins, another touchback. Here's Holly Rowe.
After that last series break, the defense for LSU came to the sideline, and their leader, Calebon Chasen, made everybody get up and gather together. He delivered a message for this defense saying, listen, too much pushing and shoving, too much stupid stuff after the whistle. Everybody has to be smart. We need you if we're going on to the next game. He then went up and got individual guys who've been in some of these pushing and shoving after the whistle and said, knock it off. We need you in this next game. Let's everybody be smart here down the stretch.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, you know, in the case of Brendan Radley-Hiles, if Oklahoma were to win the game, he would not be able to play the first half of the next ball game.
Long throw, incomplete, intended for Charleston Rambo with Derek Stingley in coverage.
See, this again, this is not, Oklahoma is not built with Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Maybe with Baker Mayfield, maybe a little bit with Kyler Murray, but not with Jalen Hurts to just throw the ball every down. I mean, he is more effective, and they are more effective when they run the football. And right now they're in a score situation where they've got to throw it more than they probably want to.
Lincoln Riley, disciple of Mike Leach, learned at Texas Tech the air raid offense, but that's a misnomer at Oklahoma. They are 58% run this season, and over the last 4 games, better than 66% run. They stick with the run, and Jalen Hurts is tripped up by Grant Delpit at the 30. There is a flag down on the play.
Holding, number 73, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
R.J. Proctor, the grad transfer from the University of Virginia, graduated with a degree in sociology.
He grabbed Rashard Lawrence, who was trying to get back outside to make a play on the quarterback, and it was a good call.
Beyond the 2 scoring drives, no offense whatsoever for Oklahoma.
We talked about this LSU defense the last 3 games against Arkansas, A&M, and Georgia in the SEC championship game. Much better effort, much more consistent effort, better numbers, and they are picking right up where they left off. I mean, they're playing a very solid football game right now, outside of the 1 play they gave up to C.D. Lamb.
Right up the middle, Hurts. Got rid of it, incomplete for C.D. Lamb. Pressure right in his face. And Hurts had to get rid of it very quickly.
Well, Chason is just creating havoc. I mean, here he is right here. He's going to go inside. There's a little stunt with the tackle. He gets inside the guard. The right guard does not pick him up. And Jalen Hurts does everything just to get rid of the football.
Glenn Logan there as well.
Caleb Chason's having himself a heck of a football game.
Missed almost all of last season after he tore his ACL in their opener against Miami. Come back strong this year. Hurts retreating. Look out for the end zone, and Chason. He got it off. It's caught by Jeremiah Hall, but he's miles from a first down at the 20. Needed 15 more.
That time they kept the back, Pledger, in to chip on Caleb Chason, but the play did not open up. And so when Jalen Hurts left the pocket, he was being pursued by Chason.
Reeves Munshaw on the punt for the 5th time. Fair catch made by Derek Stingley. Now we'll take you from plan to play. Brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Well, Justin Jefferson has been the go-to guy for Joe Burrow tonight, and most of it has been working against safeties. They found the matchups, that combination of Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger doing a beautiful job calling plays to find matchups, and then Joe Burrow doing a great job finding his key receiver, Justin Jefferson. 4 touchdown catches. Good protection by the offensive line, and again, not dink and dunk throws. Taking the ball down the field with a big receiver, Justin Jefferson, at 6'3", 192, working against smaller defensive backs.
Ty Davis Price in at running back now. The freshman out of Baton Rouge, his first carry. Justin Broyles made the tackle.
And you know, the good news now for Ed Orgeron is that guy does not need to even put his helmet on anymore. Clyde Edwards-Helaire does not need to play another down. I mean, he has a chance now to heal up completely. He looked good. A couple times he ran the football. They used him as a decoy a couple plays. But there's no reason to take a chance with him and a hamstring in this ball game right now.
LSU with one of the most impressive first halves in college football bowl game history. Over 440 yards of offense on that completion to Thaddeus Moss. Ed Orgeron won almost every Coach of the Year award. He won the big ones, the AP, the Home Depot. When we asked him yesterday, what does that mean to you? He said nothing. He said nothing? He said nope. It's Joe Burrow, it's Joe Brady, it's all these great players and coaches and everybody at every level of the operation. Burrow has a man wide open. It's Jamar Chase with a first down near the 10. Justin Broyles called upon to make another tackle. That's a 38-yard play.
This looks just like one of the plays we showed in the open. A team decides to rush 3 and drop 8. Joe Burrow sees that. He'll just buy time. He'll just wait and wait. Keeps his eyes downfield and waits for one of his key receivers to uncover. And it was Jamar Chase, 38 yards down the field.
He had a defender fall down. Will he throw 7 touchdown passes in the half? Not on this play. Ty Davis Price inside the 5-yard line.
Now this is perfect situation for LSU. There's 1:14 and counting. They've got 2 timeouts. They're going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. A chance to go into halftime with another touchdown.
Oklahoma is trying to get Parnell Motley off the field. Meanwhile, it's Ty Davis Price inside the 2 with the flag down. Didn't look like he got off the field.
Well, I thought it looked like Lincoln Riley was trying to call timeout as well to avoid that penalty, but I don't think he got it.
Illegal substitution, defense. 12 players participating in the previous down. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
Now, Parnell wasn't really participating in the down, but he couldn't get off the field in time before the ball was snapped.
Stay tuned for the Mazda halftime report. Matt Berry, Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway standing by. Burrow fakes it, throws wide open, touchdown. Terrace Marshall this time.
Same play they scored a touchdown against Georgia in the SEC championship. It's a bunch formation, and Terrace Marshall looks like he's going to block and then just kind of slips out. Watch Terrace Marshall right here. He's going to come in here and just kind of look like he's going to block, goes back out. Oklahoma goes with the play fake, and it's wide open. Exact same play they scored on in this building just a few weeks ago. Too easy. It's too easy for Joe Burrow.
We almost have 100 in the first half. That's the 49th point, the extra point from Cade York. Well, Todd, when the season started, they've had a lot of great receivers at LSU. The single season touchdown reception record, as Joe Burrow has set another mark, and we're not yet to halftime. The single season touchdown reception record was 12th by Dwayne Bowe, fine receiver.
Yeah.
Went on to the NFL. That was back in 2006. Jefferson with 4 today has 18. Chase came into the game with 18. He still has 18. And now Terrace Marshall with 2 today. He has 12.
Yeah.
So all 3 of them had either tied or broken Dwayne Bowe's record with what they did today. They've all tied or surpassed what would have been the single season mark entering, what was the single season mark entering this season.
It's just amazing how in sync they are, how Joe Burrow knows exactly where he wants to go with the football all the time.
Well, of course, these are all the college football playoff records. Touchdown passes in a game, yards and a half. We've mentioned Jefferson's record. I mean, now you start to check the record books for performances in any game in the history of college football. What we're seeing today is historic, and that isn't a strong enough word.
Right. Well, and in LSU sense and SEC sense, it's been a historic season, period. Now we just continue to go into different stratospheres with this LSU offense and the way that Joe Burrow is playing. It's fun to watch. I mean, unless you're Alex Grinch, not very fun to watch if you're the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma. But for anybody that likes offensive football, that likes the passing game, that likes the intricacies of it, it's really fun to watch, and he has been doing it from start to finish this year.
If he's not the #1 pick in the next NFL draft. Scott Johnson, our director, tells us he'll never go to another Cincinnati Bengal game again. Jalen Hurts goes behind CeeDee Lamb. You think of everything that's happened to Jalen Hurts in this building. Was the starting quarterback in the national championship game here against Georgia. They were down 14-0 at the half. He had been a 2-year starter. Tua Tagovailoa came in, led them back to an overtime win, kept the starting job the next year. Jalen dealt with it very gracefully. Came off the bench in this same building again against Georgia. In the fourth quarter, after Tua got injured, they were down a touchdown. He led them to 2 touchdowns and the win. An outstanding performance that will be remembered. In Tuscaloosa, he'll remain a very popular figure at Alabama, even though he transferred to Oklahoma. Hazel with the catch, but it's going to come back.
10-yard penalty, second down.
So a lot has happened to him in this building, but today is going to be a game he's going to want to forget.
Well, and as you mentioned, we've talked about Joe Burrow and this offense and the numbers they're putting up today, but again, this was an Oklahoma offense coming in that was just 1 yard separated them from LSU the whole season. One of the best in the country in total offense and scoring. And They've sitting here at 152 total yards in the first half. So this has been a complete dominating effort by LSU on both sides of the ball.
When we started the day, and here's Kennedy Brooks, Oklahoma averaged 554.2 yards per game. LSU was 554.3, separated by 1 yard of total offense for the year. Oklahoma trying to lead the nation in total offense for the 3rd year in a row. Here is the quarterback comparison. The Heisman Trophy winner Burrow and the Heisman Trophy runner-up Jalen Hurts.
Oklahoma just saying no moss here in the first half. I mean, got to go in and try to convince our guys. Let's look at it as 0-0. Let's play a 30-minute game and see if we can win the second half any way possible.
495 yards of offense for LSU in the half. And it's 49-14 for the Tigers. Here's Laura Rutledge.
Coach, you're undermanned in your secondary, but what defensive adjustments need to happen for the second half?
We need to run the calls. You know, they're a good enough team as it is. To give them credit, they've made a lot of nice plays, but we've busted way too many calls, both sides of the ball, a lot of opportunities that we haven't made, and we got to do a better job.
What will you say to these guys when you go into halftime now?
That exactly. You know, that exactly. That there's opportunities out there. We're a lot better team than that. We need to play like it.
Thanks, Coach. To Holly with Coach O.
Coach Orgeron, some extracurricular activity after that play. A lot of guys being restrained. What do you say to your guys to keep their composure right now?
We don't want that. We don't want anybody to get kicked out of the game. We want to play with a disciplined football team. We got 30 minutes left to go. We want a clean game.
How do you describe the magic you're seeing between Joe Burrow and his wideouts right now?
Our guys are ready. A great job of Steve Ensminga, who's went through a tragedy today of calling the game. He's the MVP right now.
Is Clyde done for the day likely?
Probably so.
Thank you, Coach.
Go Tigers.
Don't know the last time we've heard him finish a conversation without that. We'll send you to the studio for the Mazda halftime report after these messages.
This is the game they pretended to play as kids. Today they play it for real as young men in the college football playoff.
Play fake, the slant, the catch, and the touchdown. Burrow feels the rush so well and throws for a touchdown. Throwing deep, has him in, another touchdown. Deep again, on target again, Jefferson again, touchdown again.
You're watching the 2019 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Joe Burrow said during the week, these are indeed the games he dreamed about playing in when he was a kid. But what he did and what his team did in the first half had to be beyond his or anyone's wildest dreams. Todd Blackledge, 49 points. He threw 7 touchdown passes in the half. That matches the record for a game in any bowl now.
They had 8 possessions, right? They punted once. 8 possessions, 7 touchdowns, and 1 punt. Unbelievable. Just the efficiency. And doing it without, for the most part, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who played a couple plays, but pretty much a non-factor in the ball game. Did not slow LSU down whatsoever.
Gabe Burkage kicks off. High and returnable for Jontre Kirkland. And he'll be stopped just across the 25-yard line. So Joe Burrow, the Heisman Trophy winner, 21 for 27 for 403 and 7 touchdown passes. And we mentioned that you kind of feel like you're shortchanging Jefferson and some of the other guys on that offense who deserve a little spotlight right here and right now.
Yeah, and also that offensive line. We mentioned that they were the Joe Moore Award winners. They lost one of their best players in their right guard early in the game, and they just continued to play and protect Joe Burrow. So you got to give them credit as well. The pass protection that he's had in the ball game.
Chris Curry on first down. Kenneth Murray made the tackle. Well, here are a few of the records set today within the college football playoff. The 7 touchdown passes, the yards and a half. Jefferson's 4 receiving touchdowns, his 186 yards, and their 49 points in any half. The 7 touchdown passes in a bowl game matched only by Cooper Rush of Central Michigan against Western Kentucky in the 2014 Bahamas Bowl. He has an entire half to shatter that. Joe Burrow delivers to Justin Jefferson, his 10th catch. He has 4 touchdown receptions. Justin Broyles took him out of bounds, but it's a first down at the 40-yard line.
Sean, doesn't it look sometimes like Joe Burrow is just playing in the backyard? You know, when Oklahoma chooses to rush 3 and drop 8, he just waits. He kind of moves, and he doesn't decide to scramble. He doesn't panic, and he just waits for one of his guys to uncover.
Chris Curry squirts ahead for 3. If you're wondering, the NCAA record for touchdown passes in a game, any game, bowl game, otherwise, in major college football is 11 by David Klingler for Houston against Eastern Washington in 1990, a game that the Cougars won 84-21. And if he stays in long enough to play, if you watch the first half, you'd have to think that's a possibility today. Burrow's pass batted down, trying to get it to Jamar Chase, and Parnell Motley broke it up. Here's Holly Rowe.
Talking about that composure and poise of Joe Burrow, when we talked to offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger about what makes him special, he said, number 1, his toughness. He is so tough. He takes hits, and that rubs off on the rest of the guys. They feed off of that when he gets those hits and gets back up. But the number 2 thing that makes him so good is his poise. He never gets rattled, so we never get rattled. That's exactly what you guys are talking about. He's just calm, cool, and collected, and that's why the offense moves just like that.
Never looks flustered. I mean, even when he's getting hit, even when the pocket gets collapsed, he never looks like he's lost his cool.
Throwing deep, caught. Terrace Marshall all the way to the 25-yard line of Oklahoma.
See, all he knows right now is they can't cover my guys. So even if they're in position, I'm still going to throw the football where my guys can make plays, because they're not making plays on the football the way my guys are. Terrace Marshall has gotten knocked around a little bit in this game. Looks like his left arm, something with his left arm, goes up, makes the catch. Not sure what happened, but again, I mean, those are receivers that are not wide open. There's coverage there, but Joe Burrow just believes so strongly in his guys. He throws the football in a place to allow them to make a play. We've seen that a half a dozen times today on completions that Joe Burrow has had down the field.
Marshall, looks like a left shoulder injury.
Yeah, that's Jack Marucci, the head trainer, taking him into the tent right now. And that's, you know, one of the things you are concerned about as this game goes on is not losing anybody before the next one.
Well, that would be my question. How long do you leave the starters in? Wide open, Justin Jefferson. And the ball a little bit long. That would have been his 5th touchdown catch of the game.
Well, I think for sure you leave him in this possession. You know, you let him start the 3rd quarter. You come out of the locker room. You've made some adjustments if you needed any. You set your game plan, what you want to do to start the 3rd quarter. I'm not sure, you know, especially if they score another touchdown here, how long, though, you keep some of these guys in the ballgame. Because at this point, it's not about setting more records. It's about being in your best position to win a national championship on January 13th.
Murray coming on a blitz. And Burrow forced to throw it away. We asked Joe Burrow yesterday, when you send 5 out all the time, how come teams don't blitz anymore? He said, because we do such a great job of picking it up.
Yeah. Well, they pick it up, and then when they don't pick it up, he gets rid of the football, or he makes people miss and beat you with his legs. So even if you create some confusion for him or his offensive line, he still finds ways to beat the pressure. That time he threw the ball away, which is a smart decision.
3rd down and 10, opening possession of the 2nd half. Sidestep the rush. Flag down. Burrow. Diving attempt by Thaddeus Moss. It's incomplete, and there is a flag back behind the line of scrimmage.
I think they're going to get a holding on Sadiq Charles in pass protection, the left tackle.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding. Offense number 77. Holding. Defense 6. This foul's offset. 3rd down.
The other thing, if you're Ed Orgeron, what you don't want is you don't want your team to get into playing sloppy at any point. You've got a big lead. You know, you feel great about how you played the first half. This first possession, both offensively and defensively, to start the 3rd quarter, I think is always very important, how you come out of the locker room. And you don't want sloppy play and penalties, and important 3rd down play for his offense right here.
Quick hitter to Justin Jefferson. He got belted by Deshaun White. Short of the 1st down. It's 4th down. Joe Burrow looking at the sideline. He wants them to go for it, and it appears that they will.
And they might go hurry up as well. Good hit, you mentioned, by Deshaun White on the little tunnel screen.
On 4th and 2, they put Jamar Chase in the backfield. And the Biletnikoff Award winner is the best wide receiver in the country. Got the 1st down to the 12-yard line.
Well, they've done that before, but they've never really handed him the football. They put him in the backfield and throw it to him. Again, Clyde Edwards-Helaire not available at this point in the game. They put him in the backfield and handed it to him. And I think he was even surprised that he got to run the football. He's running on some end arounds. Coming into the game, 3.
Neville Gallimore, the injured player, 5th-year senior from Ottawa, Ontario. Later tonight, the 2nd game of the college football playoff semifinals. Will go out on a limb and say it's likely to be more competitive than this one. Chase Young and Ohio State squaring off with Clemson in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. It's live right here on ESPN, and of course on the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere. First and 10 LSU, opening possession of the 2nd half. Leading 49-14 behind 7 touchdown passes from Joe Burrow in the 1st half. Chris Curry bounced off the pile and wound up gaining about 5. Pat Fields got him down. Who do you like in that 2nd game tonight? That should be one of the best, you would think, in the 6-year history of the playoffs. Certainly one of the most anticipated.
I really think it's a coin flip. I really do. I mean, if I had to choose, it's hard for me to go against Clemson and Trevor Lawrence. It really is. I think Ohio State, most people think, has been one of the most complete teams, if not the most complete team all year. But I think Clemson is playing their best football right now. I think Trevor Lawrence is playing his best football, and it's hard for me to go against them. You know, they haven't lost in a long time.
28 straight wins. They could tie Florida State's ACC record with another win tonight. Chris Curry gets the 1st down just inside the 2-yard line. Of course, Joe Burrow will be watching, and undoubtedly he'll be cheering for Ohio State. He said he harbors no ill will toward the Buckeyes. Had a great experience there. He wants a rushing touchdown, and he has it. He's thrown for 7, and now he's rushed for 1.
We kind of got a double push from Justin Jefferson and Chris Curry. Good blocking on the right side of the line. Then watch Jefferson and Curry both get behind him and help him into the end zone.
Now, that is a play I definitely would not have run in this situation. You really want him to take a shot at the goal line with the score like this when you're on your way to play for a national title?
Quarterback sneak's a safe play. You're low to the ground. You're going down low. You're not going to take a direct shot.
Okay,
on that play.
Spoken like a 6'5" quarterback who
The ruling on the
probably like to score a touchdown for Penn State every now and then.
The guy's dad was a defensive coordinator. He loves mixing it up a little bit.
Well, it might not be a touchdown yet. They're going to take a look at it. This could be critical. I would say he's comfortably in.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. You know, we were talking earlier, Tolly mentioned Steve Ensminger saying, you know, it's hard to list all of his great attributes, Burrows, but he started with toughness, with the durability. I mean, he's 6'4", got great size, 215, great competitor, team leader, teammates love him, accurate as all get out. He was going to have the most accurate season, it's quite likely, in the history of college football in terms of completion percentage. What doesn't he have? I mean, some people say he doesn't have the rocket arm like a Trevor Lawrence or somebody like that, but he has plenty enough arm.
He definitely has plenty enough arm to be excellent at the next level. What he has that is probably his greatest quality in terms of going to the next level is he is such a fast processor. I mean, he sees, recognizes, understands things, makes the adjustment, sees through the chaos. All that kind of stuff is what's going to make him great.
He's like you. He's so good at everything it kind of bothers me a little bit.
No.
Yes.
Well, that's very kind, Sean.
Well, you were a great college quarterback, a first-round pick, academic All-American, distinguished alum at Penn State. I could go on, and I'm just trying to read this as you wrote it out for me. Your handwriting's a little tough. Extra point good by Cade York.
Well, here's what Joe Burrow, we talked about the open. How do you want to defend him? Because he can beat you in a lot of ways. He can beat you with his legs. Most of the time when he runs for first downs. If you get pressure on him, he's going to find the matchup. He's going to buy time, and he's going to find your weakness and your weak link. This time they went after the freshman, Woody Washington. If you drop 3 or rush 3 and drop 8, he's just going to buy time. He's not going to panic. He's going to move. He's going to keep his eyes downfield, find an open receiver, and get him the football. I mean, he sees what you're doing, and he knows where he wants to go with the football before you have a chance to get to him and make a play. And he's done that game in and game out this entire season, and that's why he's the Heisman Trophy winner.
Terrific athlete, not just Mr. Football in Ohio and the Gatorade Ohio Player of the Year. He was also an all-state point guard in basketball. Turned down some mid-major scholarship offers to play Division I basketball. The kickoff is a touchback, and you know he's clutch not only on the football field, but the teams have some social activities together. This was Wednesday. They had a joint basketball shooting competition, and this is Joe Burrow. Friendly rims there. We'd all like to shoot, I think, at that basket. He hit 10 out of 12 to help LSU win the competition.
Well, and I think Holly might know the exact time, but I think
Holly definitely knows
he
the exact
hadn't shot a basketball in a while either. I mean, so it wasn't like he's been practicing for that event.
You really don't think you have a question that Holly can't answer, do you?
I know she knows the answer.
Hurts a deep throw through the hands of C.D. Lamb. Holly, what say you?
I asked Joe about that basketball shooting display, and he said, I was pretty impressed with myself, actually, because I haven't picked up a basketball in 2 years. He had not taken a shot in 2 years, went up there and just jacked up those three-point shots. That's what kind of athlete Joe Burrow is, and pretty confident, too. He was just like, I got this.
That's what kind of competitor he is. I mean, that's, you know, he is an uber competitor. And, you know, I think that, to me, the first day he practiced with LSU when he got here 2 years ago, at the end of practice, they ran 16 110 sprints. And he was running with his position groups, and he won every sprint. And the next day, he won every sprint. And he just endeared himself to his football team that he was going to be that kind of a leader and that kind of a competitor in everything he did.
Jalen Hurts, tackled by Patrick Queen and Glenn Logan. Well, he admitted, because he arrived late, basically a year and a half ago. If you don't know his story, very highly recruited out of Athens, Ohio, Mr. Football in Ohio. Went to Ohio State, redshirted his first year, backed up J.T. Barrett for 2, got in only 10 games, no starts, through 39 passes. Was in a competition the next year in spring ball with Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins beat him out, had a great year, and was drafted in the first round by Washington. But when he realized it was going to be another year on the bench, he looked to transfer after spring ball and wound up at LSU. C.D. Lamb high stepping across midfield and chopped down at the 46-yard line by Cameron Lewis, a backup junior from Monroe, Louisiana. He had a nice year last year, Burrow. We'll get back to it tomorrow. Let's watch this play.
It's just a great route. He ran inside and came back out on Kerry Vincent Jr. Did a beautiful job finding some space, and he's not had a lot of space in the ball game.
Hurts, incomplete, intended for Charleston Rambo, and Christian Fulton broke it up. For a long time, it looked like Joe Burrow was going to go to Cincinnati. Luke Fickell,
that's right.
The relatively new head coach at Cincinnati, had been at Ohio State for a long time, and Joe took a visit down to the Bayou and just felt so comfortable. He and his family believed in Coach O. Coach O promised him. He said, we can't do it this year, but we're going to change the offense, make it more in tune with today's passing attacks. He lived up to that promise. Jeremiah Hall,
I think Coach O taught him how to eat crawfish too. I think he kind of liked that.
Well,
I mean, that would, you know,
I think it's hard to know who's more popular right now in the state of Louisiana, right? Coach O or Joe Burrow?
Unbelievable.
They could both be elected to anything they wanted to be. Ed Orgeron, Louisiana native, Rose, Louisiana, grew up an LSU fan. It's not just about second chances for Joe Burrow. It's about that for Coach O as well.
Yeah.
Got a chance to be the head coach at Ole Miss. 3 very tough years there. Won only 10 games. He admitted he didn't do a good job. It was too hard on the people around him. You can't coach the whole team like defensive lineman, which was his position group for much of his career as an assistant. That's Austin Stogner with the catch. Then he was at USC. He's the interim coach. They go 6-2. He thinks he's going to get that job. He doesn't. He was devastated. Wound up at LSU as an assistant. They dismissed Les Miles. He gets the interim job again, goes 6-2 again. But at the end of that year, there's all kinds of speculation that Tom Herman was going to be the coach. The very successful coach at the University of Houston, who opted for Texas instead. Charleston Rambo near the first down line and stopped by Kerry Vincent. So what a story it is. I mean, here's a guy who, you know, relatively late in his career, gets the chance to have his dream job. Wasn't sure he's going to keep it. He kept it, and you can't be happier for somebody. I mean, to have your dream job and have it go like this is awesome. And one of the real likable people in college football, who, you know, is much as he's enjoying his performance by his team, his heart is aching today for his dear friend Steve Ensminger and his family.
Well, right now, and the message that he and Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator, have preached to their defense over the last 3 or 4 weeks is we have to do a better job of finishing games, finishing the fourth quarter in particular. They got the big lead. That's all well and good, but we need to finish the job that we started. Kerry Vincent Jr. a little banged up at the end of that play. And right now, I think that's the biggest thing that Coach Orgeron wants to see, is he wants to see his defense finish what they started.
Media timeout.
The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, brought to you by Gatorade. For the athletes who give everything, nothing beats Gatorade. AT&T, Capital One, what's in your wallet, and Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
What a beautiful venue this is. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, opened in 2017. Site of last season's Super Bowl. The Patriots win over the Rams. There's the national championship game. The Alabama memorable overtime win against Georgia was here. The Final Four in college basketball will be here in April.
Beautiful place. Beautiful booth.
It's a fantastic booth.
You know, during that timeout, both Dave Aranda and Ed Orgeron were both on the field talking to defensive players, wanting a stop here on this third down play in a big way.
It's 3rd down and 3. Oklahoma driving, trailing 56-14 in the third quarter. Jalen Hurts on target. Jaden Hazelwood the catch. Part of an impressive recruiting class, true freshman wide receivers, because they've had so many terrific wide receivers come out of here in recent years. They're now a destination spot for the top wide receiver recruits in high school football.
Yeah, 3 of them in the same class, all, you know, 4- or 5-star guys. And of course, a guy like CeeDee Lamb is an attractive reason to come here.
Hazelwood, a 5-star recruit. Terry Vincent's back on the field in the LSU secondary. Jalen Hurts It is batted in the air and out of bounds. Grant Delpit deflected it.
Yeah, Delpit was just kind of mirroring Jalen Hurts on that play. Kind of running with him and got his hands on the football.
Jalen's from the Houston area, as is Grant Delpit. We talked to Grant yesterday. He was looking forward to playing against C.D. Lamb. They grew up together. They played Little League football together in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. He said, we were undefeated for 3 years. Not a big surprise when you have those two on the same team. They played 7-on-7 football together for Team Texas Elite. Grant thought he might be a part of shadowing, helping to double cover C.D. Lamb if it was necessary today. Jalen Hurts, the ball carrier, down after a short gain. There's the Fort Bend Express, Texas State champs. They were in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades.
I'm just trying to figure out how you have a travel football team in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Because it's Texas.
I guess the 7-on-7 teams I understand, but the travel 6th, 7th, and 8th, that's pretty incredible.
Delpit, big part of the history of defensive backs now at LSU. They call themselves DBU, and understandably so. PJ Pledger wrestled down by Jacob Phillips, lost his helmet. He's LSU's leading tackler for the season, a junior from Nashville. Grant Delpit told us when he won the Thorpe Award, he was slightly surprised because he was injured for a lot of the year with a bad ankle. First person to text him was Patrick Peterson, now with the Arizona Cardinals, who won that award for LSU back in 2010. Morris Claiborne won it the next year.
They've had a lot of great safeties who didn't win that award, and he felt very honored, very privileged to be one who did.
Tyrann Mathieu, one of those, although he did win the Bednarik Award. Don't want to leave out our colleague Ryan Clark. We are going to miss several because they've had many, many greats. Jalen Hurts avoided the rush, trying to pick up a block, lunging for the pylon. Touchdown.
Yeah, just a great play by Jalen Hurts. Eluding the rush. I mean, Jacoby Stevens came unblocked. Watch Jacoby Stevens. He's going to come right here unblocked. And Jalen Hurts has got to escape from him first of all. He does that. He gets a little bit of a block from Rambo. Not really. Just got in the way a little bit. But he knew how to get that football to the pylon. And the AT&T pylon camera gave us a great shot of it right there.
So here's Gabe Burkich. Oh boy, are they going to review this? No, it's a false start.
False start. Number 52, offense. 5-yard penalty. We will play the try.
Tyrese Robinson called for the penalty. So this is going to be the last game of Jalen Hurts' college career, and it's really hard to describe it.
Yeah.
And the word unique is overused.
Well, he uses himself the word unprecedented. He's said that many times in describing his journey and, you know, the success he had at Alabama and then what happened to him there and then the success he's had here. And it really is unprecedented. And a nice touchdown run here on 4th down shows you his competitive fire.
Two rushing touchdowns today for Jalen Hurts. Oklahoma still down 56-21. But with that touchdown, he's rushed for 20. He's thrown 32 touchdown passes this season. A distinguished club of 30 touchdown passes and 20 rushing touchdowns in one season. Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Heisman Trophy winners all, and of course Jalen Hurts, the runner-up this year for the Heisman to Joe Burrow. Gabe Burkich, a touchback. Here's Laura Rutledge.
Well, Sean, a lot of people wonder what will Jalen Hurts' NFL future look like, and there's this idea that's floating around the league a little bit that really would be very interesting. Let's say the Baltimore Ravens were to draft Jalen Hurts. They've got Lamar Jackson, obviously the MVP, already as their quarterback. You put Jalen Hurts in that backfield as a running back type who can also throw the ball. What would that look like? And maybe it could usher in even more of a new age offense in the NFL. We're already seeing some of that change. But one NFL GM I talked to, guys, said that they think that the Lamar Jackson era and what he's brought to the table helps a guy like Jalen Hurts for these NFL teams to see that you don't have to be necessarily a traditional quarterback to be able to have success at that next level.
Justin Jefferson, the catch, and Woody Washington, the tackle. Well, why not just be a quarterback?
Right. I think that's the point. The last point Laura was making is that I think the success that Lamar Jackson has had, the success that Cam Newton had when he was healthy, I think there's other guys that have allowed you to to project quarterbacks differently than you ever used to. The prototype for an NFL quarterback, Kyler Murray, it's completely different than what it used to be.
Another catch for Jefferson. He's now set the Peach Bowl record for receiving yards in a game. And he has tied the record for catches in the game. 13 receptions, matches DeAndre Hopkins of Clemson in the Peach Bowl in 2012. And his 221 receiving yards passes Travis Rudolph of Florida State in 2015 in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Joe Burrow still out there with his team up by 35 and 3 minutes and change to go in the third quarter. He's on target again, short of the first down. Just to follow up what you were saying and what Laura was reporting on, I exchanged text messages with John Harbaugh this morning. And I said, how about Jalen Hurts? Maybe as a backup to Lamar Jackson. I mean, nobody's going to beat out Lamar Jackson, at least not next year. And they, like all their quarterbacks, they have RG3 there. He said, would think a good idea. Haven't really watched him, but I know he's a great player.
Yeah.
You'll watch him some more. Yeah. I mean, doesn't that make sense? If that's the offense you're going to run,
right?
Have another guy
who can do that.
He's not as fast as Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And he's a much improved thrower, as we've talked about all day long. And kudos to John Harbaugh, Greg Roman, and that staff. You know, they've crafted an offense. Coaching is about taking advantage of the skill set of your players. That's what the Ravens have done. That is what LSU has done this season. Stephon Sullivan, the first down. They're the first team in the history of the SEC with a 4,000-yard passer and a 1,000-yard rusher and two 1,000-yard receivers.
I know. Yeah, it's unbelievable what they've done. And again, the consistency and the efficiency that they've operated at. They've not had a bad game. I mean, they didn't have a down game ever offensively.
Burrow after the play fake. They're spreading it around now. This is Torrey Carter with just his second catch of the season. Junior from Valdosta, Georgia. His dad, James, was an All-American on some terrific teams at Georgia Southern.
You know, we saw them against Ole Miss towards the end of the year, and that was a bad game for them defensively. They gave up over 600 yards of offense to Ole Miss, and a lot of that to the quarterback in the run game. They made adjustments, they made improvements, but their offense was incredible that night, too. They could have scored 100 if they wanted to. And they just have not had an off night from start to finish offensively.
And they won that game 58-37, despite more than 400 yards rushing and 600 yards plus of offense for the Ole Miss Rebels. Ty Davis Price, the ball carrier. I think that one you can understand a little bit. Was right after the huge win at Alabama. And David Aranda admitted he thought the focus was a little off and that he didn't do a good enough job within the game of adjusting to the great job Ole Miss was doing with the quarterback run game. Rich Rodriguez, the coordinator, had a great plan that night. John Rice Plumlee is really fast.
Very fast. Very fast.
I would be surprised if we see Mr. Burrow in the fourth quarter.
This has to be his last hurrah here.
His dad, Jimmy, retired from coaching to come watch his son play. And boy, was that a good decision. They've been at all the games this year. Justin Jefferson, Robin Burrow wanted another touchdown.
Well, they had the matchup again. Inside slot against Justin Broyles, a safety. That one just a little bit wide on the throw by Joe Burrow.
Bench him immediately. Did you see the feature on the Burrows on game day this morning?
I did not, no.
You know, it was very emotional when Robin Burrow talked about, you know, Jimmy Burrow's decision to walk away. Very highly regarded coach, 15 years, the defensive coordinator of Ohio U with Frank Solich. Said it really showed Joe how much we love him, care about him, and she got very emotional talking about it. Timeout, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, they're first of the half.
They're a very close family. Jimmy was a terrific player at Nebraska, played professionally for 6 years, and an outstanding coach as well.
Stream your favorite sports, stories, and series with ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu. Get all 3 for just $12.99 a month.
We're back in Atlanta at the 2019 Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. College football playoff semifinal #1, dominated by LSU, leading 56-21. With 623 yards of total offense through 3 quarters for the National Coach of the Year, Ed Orgeron, who's going to bring his team to New Orleans on January 13th. About an hour from their campus, depending on how you drive. Play at Ohio State or Clemson for the national title.
And they got Burrow still in, and Justin Jefferson. I think they're going to try for one more connection between those 2 guys.
Oh, he fumbles the football. And now a battle for it, and LSU got it back. Looked like Ed Ingram recovered it, the guard. And that play right there would be enough to get Joe Burrow out of the game.
Well, they get away with a face mask right there that should have been called. He readjusts himself, and then he loses the football as he's hit from behind by Jalen Redmond. But yeah, the hit after the fumble. Try the field goal here. I don't think we'll see any more of those guys.
It's Cade York, true freshman. As you see, he's had an excellent year. You know, last year, at the beginning of the year, we did the game against Miami. They had brought in Cole Tracy from Assumption College to solve miserable kicking problems the year before. And Tracy had a historic year.
14-19. There's a problem with the down box.
A few more problems than that.
We're trying to repair at the present time.
Keep us posted on that, Stu. But he said Cole Tracy's been a great resource to him this season. They talk from time to time.
You do a great job at Media Day just getting down and dirty with the kickers.
You know, no one talks to the kickers. They sit there all by themselves. Well, and you never know if it might come down to a game-deciding kick. I think that seems unlikely here today.
But you have the stories if you need them.
Well, oops. Cole Tracy told him to try to keep it between the uprights. I mean, how about this young man? He's 18. They go to Alabama. It's a tight game. He goes 2 for 2 with 2 field goals of 40 plus. That was a 46-yard attempt off the left upright.
Plenty of leg. Just stayed out to the left.
That was some of your best analysis.
Thank you.
Right there. You know, one of the things you find out the more you are around kickers and punters is the importance now of these camps. You know, Cole's kicking.
Yep.
These young men, a lot of them go to these camps.
And long snappers, too. I mean, they're part of that.
There are long snapping camps.
Yep.
But these kicking clinics, they rate kickers and punters around the country. A lot of the colleges rely on that. Good throw by Jalen Hurts. Theo Weiss, another one of those very highly recruited freshman wide receivers. He's out of Allen, Texas. He was an Under Armour All-American and a 4-star recruit. He has a gain of 21.
Well, you know, you talk about what Lincoln Riley would talk to his team in the locker room at halftime. Hey, let's play 30 minutes. Let's see if we can win the 3rd quarter. They didn't necessarily win it, but they played even. Both teams scored a touchdown. They had about the same amount of yards, and a nice play here to start the 4th quarter.
Deep down the depth chart now, there's Drake Stoops, the son of the all-time winningest coach at Oklahoma, Bob Stoops, with a nice catch. New Year's Day, that's Wednesday on ESPN. Actually, Wednesday everywhere. 5 p.m. in the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. Oregon and Wisconsin, and then we'll be in New Orleans for the All-State Sugar Bowl. Georgia And Baylor, what a year for Matt Rule's Baylor Bears. All that action live on ESPN and the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere.
Yeah, Baylor only lost 2 games the whole season, both to Oklahoma. Lost the game in Waco when they had the big lead. They led by 25 points at one point. An incredible second half comeback led by Jalen Hurts, and then the Big 12 championship game in overtime when they got down to their 3rd quarterback. And Oklahoma found a way to win that one in overtime as well.
My thought, most people thought, it was going to be a long shot for Oklahoma to win the game. But to me, Todd, they lost it really before they ever got here.
Yeah.
You know, when their leading sacker, Ronnie Perkins, their backup running back, Ramondre Stevenson, their suspended Trajan Bridges, special teams player, backup wide receivers, Hazelwood, Aaron Turner Yell gets hurt. You know, they just didn't have enough depth to overcome that, and it's just from a karma standpoint, it felt like a bad vibe. But we talked to Alex Rich yesterday. He said, you know, I worry that our lack of depth will be exposed on defense, and that came to
especially in the secondary. That's where he was most concerned, and that's where they've been hurt the most in the ball game today.
No reasons given for the suspensions, as Laura Rutledge mentioned earlier.
That was a big hit.
They certainly hurt. I don't know whether it would have made a huge difference, but they would have been more competitive with 3 or 4 of their best players.
Absolutely. I mean, your second leading tackler, your leading rusher. Here's the hit at the end of the play. Jacob Phillips, the leading tackler, and again in the 4th quarter of a game like this, those are the kind you feel. I know that Jalen Hurts is a tough guy, and his durability, when we asked Lincoln Riley about it, he says it's different. It's very different, his durability, that he can come back week in and week out after running the football and taking hits like that. Very unusual young man.
It's been a record-setting night for him as well. He's on target to Nick Basquin with Jalen Hurts' 39 yards rushing. He has passed. There's the backup quarterback Miles Brennan warming up for LSU. He's passed Jack Mildren for the single season rushing yards mark by a quarterback. They've had a lot of great running quarterbacks at Oklahoma. Mildren's mark had lasted since 1971. And with Jalen's 2 rushing touchdowns tonight, that's 20, tying Mildren's record from the same season for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. All right. It's just about to the edge. Damone Clark throws him down with the whistles blowing.
A lot of starters still in the ball game defensively for LSU, and they're rotating defensive linemen trying to keep fresh. Again, one of the problems they had this year, they would play really good for moments and quarters and halves. They did not finish some games. And Dave Aranda, that's what his primary focus is right now. We need to finish this game on a high note and get ready for the next one. It's not just winning, it's physically dominating and finishing the job that we start.
4th down and 2, 10-10 to go. 4th quarter, play clock running out, so Jalen Hurts uses a timeout.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley saw that too and said, let's talk about it.
Timeout, Oklahoma.
Later tonight in Glendale, Arizona, Trevor Lawrence leads the defending national champion Clemson Tigers against Ohio State in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl with the right to play LSU in the national championship game on January 13th.
I bet he'll know where number 2 is every play in that one tonight. Chase Young.
4th down and 2 for Oklahoma. Hurts with time, has his receiver. It's Drake Stoops, and he's to the goal line and loses the ball.
I actually thought his knee was down before he even got towards the end zone.
That's the call. The official, the far side of the field, running in.
I mean, regardless of who came up with the football, I thought his knee was down before the ball came out.
We talked to Lincoln Riley about Drake Stoops earlier this year. Said he's a playmaker.
Yeah.
He's trying to make a play, get in the end zone. Bob Stoops, of course, Lincoln Riley's predecessor. He hired Lincoln Riley to be the offensive coordinator in 2015. And Riley promoted by Joe Castiglione. The athletic director when Bob Stoops retired, Christian Fulton, knocked the ball
recovered
out.
by the defense. That play is under further review.
He was fighting for extra yardage, fighting for the goal line. See, there his knee is down before the ball goes anywhere. I think it's going to be Oklahoma ball at about the 1 yard line, 1.5 yard line.
The knee down.
Yeah, Christian Fulton ripped the football out, but Drake Stoops was down before that happened.
Dad Bob's going to coach in the XFL.
Yeah.
Dallas team. Here's a look from the AT&T pylon camera. We literally have a camera everywhere here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
You know, this possession, Laura gave the report about Jalen Hurts and NFL and what teams might be thinking. Even though this game is out of reach, this last possession has been a good possession for Jalen Hurts because he has thrown the ball well. And it's been primarily throwing the football. And LSU doesn't have backups in. They have starters in. And he's staying in the pocket. He's run a couple times, but he's made some nice, accurate throws.
Well, you and I did their opening game against Houston, Jalen's first game, when he had a huge debut against the Houston Cougars, set the total offense record in a debut by any Oklahoma quarterback. We talked to Lincoln Riley, and he said part of the preseason he used the word robot, try to coach the robot out of him. He thought Jalen was a little bit mechanical, and they've done that. We asked Lincoln yesterday, do you think that's been accomplished? He said absolutely, and he does look like a more fluid thrower than he was prior to his time in Oklahoma, and they meant no disrespect to the Alabama folks when they said that.
After further review, the runner's knee was down with the ball just inside the 1 yard line. It will be first and goal for Oklahoma from that spot. Please reset the game clock to 10 minutes and 1 second, 10:01, and start it on my signal.
You know, the thing that gets lost, too, and we brought the point up when we had Oklahoma a couple weeks ago in the Big 12 championship game, but you know, you look at the guys before him that both won Heisman trophies, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, they had multiple years in this system with Lincoln Riley. The guys that are coming after, whether it's Tanner Mordecai, Spencer Rattler, they'll have multiple years with Lincoln Riley. He had less than 1 year. I mean, he got here late. He had to absorb a whole new system, new teammates, new league, new everything. And what he did in that amount of time is really pretty remarkable. A voted team captain.
That's the thing that meant the most to Jalen. T.J. Pledger, the touchdown for Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts said, we've talked to him a number of times. It almost sounded as if he was saying of all the things he's accomplished, he was most proud of that. That in a short period of time, he had earned the respect and belief of his new teammates to be a captain.
Well, I'll guarantee you who you earn the respect of right away, the strength coach. Anywhere he goes in a weight room, I mean, he does impressive things in the weight room. And that is a
600-pound plus squatter.
Yeah, that gets people's attention.
That's a light day for him. Gabe Burkich, still no announcer whammy. Trying to finish the season without missing a kick. No kicker at Oklahoma has ever done that. You're watching the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. It's the little things that make game day worth celebrating. And the all-new Ford Explorer, built Ford proud.
4 tremendous quarterbacks on display in this college football playoff semifinal. What a day for Joe Burrow. 493 yards. That is his career high, surpassing the 489 he threw for at Ole Miss in mid-November. The total yards, the 8 touchdowns responsible for 7 touchdown passes and 1 rushing. Both single game records in the college football playoff, now in its 6th year. The 7 touchdown passes matching the most that anybody's ever thrown in a bowl game. And by the way, now 55 touchdown passes for the year. Only one man has ever thrown more in a season in major college football. Colt Brennan of Hawaii, the record 58 in 2006. There are only 7 men who have ever thrown 50 or more in a season. Fair catch made by Trey Palmer. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Ed Orgeron grew up in Louisiana, just across the bayou from where he will take this team to the national championship in New Orleans. I spoke to his mom today, Coco Orgeron. She's 77 years old. She is home in La Rose, Louisiana, watching. She said Ed was a very smart little boy. He loved to play outside. Whether you were 3, 12, or 17, everyone grew up playing outside. And he said if you cried, you had to go home. She said, yes, he did have that very deep voice as a very young little boy.
Much imitated. Here's Miles Brennan now in at quarterback, the backup. He hands it off to Chris Curry. Brennan, a sophomore from Long Beach, Mississippi. He was a top prospect coming out of high school. Not a lot of playing time this year behind Joe Burrow.
But for Chris Curry, that was his 12th carry of the game. He had 10 game appearances in his career coming into today, but the most he ever carried in a game was 6 times. So he's doubled that today in relief of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And, you know, for them now, they've got almost 2 weeks to get him 100%. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, such a big part, a critical part of their offense. And really, regardless of who wins that game tonight in the desert, they both have outstanding defensive football teams.
Curry's looked good, and he's refusing to go down, and he gets a little help from Torrey Carter, and wound up at the 49-yard line. By Edwards-Helaire loves it. Well, we've had the return of beast mode in the NFL this week, and that was reminiscent of Marshawn Lynch.
For LSU, I mean, Joe Burrow is out, all the top flight receivers are out, but it's still the same starting 5 offensive line up there right now, grinding it out here in the 4th quarter. Led by their center Lloyd Cushenberry, who is super smart leader of that offensive line, great communicator of the guys around him. And when you go 5-man protection as much as they do, you better have a center that's on the ball.
Curry crosses midfield. One of the few negatives today for LSU, the loss of Damian Lewis, second team All Southeastern Conference right guard, left early in the game with what Holly tells us is a right ankle injury. But the offensive line continues along. Ed Ingram's done a very nice job coming in. As we said, he is a starter in previous games this year and would be on many teams around the country. Midway through the 4th quarter. Brennan, Eagle RPO action, and an accurate throw to Derek Dillon. His 14th catch of the year. Senior from Franklinton, Louisiana.
Same play that Joe Burrow threw his first touchdown of the ball game to Justin Jefferson. They're just kind of have the inside zone run. If that safety comes up, they throw the slant behind him. It's a run pass option, and Miles Brennan did a nice job reading it and delivering the football. Right now, LSU wants to run the football, run the clock, use as much of the play clock as they can. Can't imagine they snap it inside of 10 seconds on the play clock at all the rest of this football game.
Derek Dillon again. You saw the big smile on his face after the catch a moment ago. He has a first down. Woody Washington made the tackle. That's 667 yards of offense for LSU. That is a team record in the college football playoff. Oregon at 639 against Florida State January 1st of 2015. One of the oddities taught about the playoff, Reese Davis mentioned this on game day this morning. Semifinals are not very competitive.
Right. They have not been.
The first 5 years prior to this, obviously 10 semifinal games, only 2 decided by single digits. I think we're going to have a close one tonight in the Valley of the Sun.
So too.
Ohio State and Clemson. Ryan Day trying to remain undefeated as a head coach. Larry Coker, Miami, the last to go undefeated in his first full season as a head coach.
You know, we've talked about this at our production meeting. It's pretty amazing when you consider Ed Orgeron and all 4 of the head coaches, very unique how they all got here. Ed Orgeron was an interim coach, got promoted, wasn't necessarily the first choice or the flashiest choice, turned out to be a great hire. Dabo Swinney, same thing, was an interim coach when Bowden was fired and he took over, and then Terry Don Phillips, the athletic director, made him. He had only been a wide receiver coach, never been a coordinator, made Dabo Swinney the head coach. He's had an incredible record, a couple national championships. Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, both guys who were hired to be offensive coordinators. The guy ahead of them decided to retire before people thought they would, and they promoted from within. And all four guys have been phenomenal hires.
And Lincoln Riley was little known.
That's right.
And Bob Stoops took him from East Carolina, where he was an offensive coordinator, to be the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. And all he's done is have the best first-year start, second-year start, and three-year start in Oklahoma history in terms of number of wins. Unfortunately, he's going to end the third year in a row at 12-2. Racing McMath down to the 6-yard line. Nice throw by Brennan. And that's at a school, Oklahoma. You know, they've had some of the, what schools had more legendary coaches than Oklahoma? Right. Bud Wilkinson and Benny Owen and Chuck Fairbanks and Barry Switzer. We mentioned Bob Stoops.
John Emery into the end zone. Highly recruited true freshman. I think he thought he'd be more involved in the absence of Edwards Elaire, who, if you're just tuning in, played sparingly. The good news for LSU, didn't aggravate that hamstring injury. Emery said the other day in the local paper here, this is going to be my coming out part.
Yeah. Not quite yet. He's a highly recruited guy. He's a great speed, probably the most speed of those other three running backs that we've seen tonight. How about the story that Lincoln Riley told us yesterday, that when he was at East Carolina, he thinks he was the first guy to offer Joe Burrow a scholarship?
Yes. He said they had played against Jimmy Burrow in the Beef O'Brady Bowl.
Yeah. Wow.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, introducing the newest honorary member of the College Football Hall of Fame, the Goodyear Blimp. Goodyear, more driven. Speaking of the College Football Hall of Fame, it's just down the street from Mercedes-Benz Stadium right here in Atlanta. If you're in the area, it is well worth your time, especially if you like college football. First and 10, Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts still in there. They did have some other quarterbacks warming up a while ago. He fires a bomb off the fingertips of CeeDee Lamb.
Can't throw it any better than that. Great protection, deep play action pass.
Holding, number 54, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway. There was a holding call against Marquez Hayes, so they put Jalen in for one more play to let him go out for a curtain call. Unfortunately, it's a sparse crowd here now. Most have left.
That was a heck of a throw.
And a heck of a college career.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts will finish his career 38-4 as a starting quarterback. 26-2 at Alabama. Spencer Rattler is the new quarterback. He was the #1 quarterback prospect according to most of the ratings. Out of Phoenix, Arizona, true freshman out of Pinnacle High School.
They love the way he can throw the football. I mean, I remember when we were there for the first game in August and talking to some people around there, said, I mean, there's really no comparison who throws it the best. I mean, Tanner Mordecai is also a promising quarterback backing up Jalen Hurts, but this guy is the guy who could spin it the best.
He wants those signals, and he wants them now, too. He's ready to go. There's Tanner Mordecai, redshirt freshman, Waco, Texas. Well, because of the success that they're having, when you have back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners, and then the third guy Hurts as a runner-up, you're going to be able to recruit some quarterbacks into this system. Rattler slides down. Of course, the big question in Oklahoma now will be the future of Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
When we met with him yesterday, Holly Rowe said, we have to ask you the annual question. are you going to the NFL? And his answer was, I don't think so. And we said, well, that's not a no. And he said, well, it's about as close to a no as it can possibly be. I'm very happy here. Well compensated, reportedly makes more than $6 million a year, but his name has certainly come up frequently in the speculation regarding the future of the Dallas Cowboys head coaching job. Rattler, 6 feet, 191 pounds, took a hit as he got it off. Drake Stoops could not hang on. Apparently there's some speculation about Lincoln Riley here in Atlanta too, because in the paper this morning in the articles about the Falcons' decision to retain Dan Quinn, so, well, I guess you can cross Lincoln Riley off the Falcons list then.
Well, he's always going to be on everybody's list because he's very innovative. He's creative. NFL guys, you know, they come to Norman to visit with him to understand some of the things they're doing. And so he's always going to be somebody that people are going to go after. There's no question. And he's going to have to answer that question year in and year out.
Well, he's won 36 games in 3 years as a head coach. The only coaches in the history of major college football who won more in their first 3 seasons coached in the 1800s. Walter Camp, one of the inventors of football, went 41-2 at Yale, and George Woodruff of Penn. That's it.
A little high on that throw by Rattler on 4th and 4. Lincoln Riley trying to go for it. Give his young quarterback a little more of a possession.
Well, Oklahoma will be 0-4 in the playoff. They will have given up at least 37 points in all 4 of those appearances. The defense was better this year, hurt certainly by the depletions of the roster in this game, but hurt more by the amazing array of talent on the other side of the ball. Yeah. 63 points for LSU is the college football playoff record, surpassing the 59 by Oregon against Florida State, New Year's Day of 15. Stay tuned for the Ford post game after the game on the ESPN app. What a day for Joe Burrow. You thought the season couldn't get any better for him. It did. And what a heartbreaking day for all of us who, it doesn't matter if you know the Ensmingers or not.
That's right.
It's a sad day. There's too much sadness lately, Todd. We lost. We've been wearing these flower lapel pins today in honor and memory of our colleague Ed Ashoff, who died at age 34 earlier this week. Great college football writer, reporter, so stylish. Yeah. Flower of the lapel pin, a nod to him. But if you joined us late, the news broke a couple hours before game time that Steve Ensminger's daughter-in-law, Carly McCord, well-known sports reporter in Louisiana, married to Steve's son, Steve Ensminger Jr., passed away in a plane crash this morning near Lafayette, Louisiana, on our way here to the game. And heartbreaking beyond description. It really is.
It is. It is. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of players and coaches and administrators that'll have a warm hug for him when they get down to the locker room. And LSU is going home to New Orleans to play for a national championship on January 13th.
Well, LSU 14-0 for the first time in school history. The only other time they were 13-0, they lost the national championship game to Alabama. God bless the Ensminger family and Carly McCord's family, and may she rest in peace. Certainly a very emotional day, Holly, for Ed Orgeron and this LSU team.
That's right, Coach Orgeron, you're taking your team back to Louisiana for a chance at a national championship. How does that sink into you right now?
You know, it hasn't sunk in yet. I'm just very proud of our football team, very proud of our coaching staff, very proud. Hey, way to go, my man. Yeah, congratulations to you. Very proud of everybody in our organization. I think he's going to sing in tonight. We're going to enjoy this victory. and then we're going to press on.
How proud are you of your team? It's been award season, lots of awards, lots of individual acclaim, that they could focus in on this moment and get this done today.
You know, we didn't skip a beat. We didn't blink. We put it aside. We focused in the task at hand. We came here. This is a playoff game. This is not a bowl. Our team was very focused. We got great leadership and great coaches.
For a boy from LaRose, Louisiana, what does it feel like to go across the bayou and play for a national title?
You know, it's something we always dreamed about. It's going to be a special night for everybody in Louisiana, but this is always going to be about the team.
Coach, I know it was a heartbreaking day for the team today. What did you say to your kids and to Coach Ensminger before this game?
You know, Coach Ensminger and I addressed it. We didn't have a long time to talk, but he's getting the game ball tonight. What a tremendous, tremendous LSU Tiger. He called a great game tonight.
Thank you very much, Coach. And now let's check in with Laura Rutledge.
All right, thanks, Holly. Joe, you're responsible for 8 touchdowns in this game, 7 of them in the first half alone. You dreamed of playing on stages like this. What was it like tonight?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but this was expected from us. You know, we expected to be here from the jump, and you know, we've worked so hard for this moment. We just got to finish it off.
You mentioned finishing it off. You will go now to New Orleans to play for a national championship. You've had your name spelled in the Cajun spelling on your back. You've carried this state on your shoulders. What will this mean to you?
This is going to be a lot of fun. You know, we've worked for this for a long time. I know Coach O is ready for it. Our team will be ready for it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, it's hard to chronicle all the records set today. Here are many of them. 7 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown running for Joe Burrow. He threw for 403 in the first half. Finished the game with 493. Justin Jefferson had 4 receiving touchdowns, all in the first half. Set the Peach Bowl record, college football playoff record for receiving yards as well. 49 points and a half, 63 points in a game, 692 yards of total offense before a Peach Bowl record crowd of 78,347. Final score, LSU 63, Oklahoma 28. For Todd, Holly, and Laura, Sean McDonough so long from Atlanta. Now to Reese Davis in Glendale, Arizona at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl.
Sean, thank you very much. One team has advanced to New Orleans, and 2 more will square off in State Farm Stadium in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. The reigning national champion Clemson Tigers in Ohio State. Plenty of pregame when you come back.